Okay. Let's see if we're live. Gotta make sure. Let's see. Live? YouTube has a way of... Oh, yeah, we are. Okay. We are live. All right, let me click on it. All right. You got the chat here. Let me get over here. Use my phone to make sure we get the most live situation. Okay, here we are. Okay. I am in, and let me see. Okay. I see Temezi. Hang on. Is this the real Temezi or is this a fake Temezi? Temezi, tell me something that I wouldn't know. Tell me something that only you would be able to tell me right now, so I can make sure, because I'm going to give you the wrench. Welcome everybody. If you're watching this live or after the fact, this is my presentation I have been thinking about, I have been measuring, I have been gathering data on, and thinking about how to present it for years at this point. I got to thank you for joining me. Also realize this is a live stream I'm doing. I'm not doing this as an edited video to where I can cut things out and finagle, do all kinds of weird stuff with the facts and cut out people's opinions and stuff. None of that. So I'm going to be reading my live chat. I'm going to be giving you guys what I've been putting together and all that as a uh, train of thought type of thing, as like a off the top of the head uh, presentation. All right, it's been months since I've looked at my notes, but these are things that I feel are ingrained in my understanding of who we are and what the universe is all about and all that stuff as of right now. So that's why I'm not worried about this presentation as much as like somebody who has a test to take but they've not studied their notes in months. I'm not worried about it like that, because the things that I've found and the things that I've thought about and the things that I have gathered together here, I feel like I'll find my way through it very easily without having to feel completely lost. So obviously, without looking at my notes for months, there are going to be parts that aren't going to be the smoothest presentation. But I hope that you will take it as, oh my goodness, this is something that has been put together, and maybe think about it in a way that you don't normally think about things. I'm Gritty Slayer. Okay, that I think that's good. Let's do it. There you go. Maybe you can add like a picture of yourself or something. All right, so let me tweet this out. Let me let everybody know that we're here. I wanted to make sure that the stream was live before I tweet about it. Here we go. Boom. The tweet is on. It doesn't have my picture that I put. There's a thumbnail though, right? I think it looks right. Why am I stuck? Okay, okay. Looked like we dropped a frame or something, but I think we're good. All right, so, and I know this is going to be a somewhat frustrating part of the video for people who are trying to just get to the answers and all that, but please understand, this is not a gimmick or anything I'm trying to do to just mess with you. I just have to make sure it's all working. Good Panda, silver member. Whoa, good Panda, thank you. Thank you very much. There's not going to be any pop-ups or sound effects or anything like that. Even though it is a live stream. Wait a minute. Unless that happens. Oh my goodness. I don't know where that came from. How did that happen? What is that? What the heck? Why would that happen? What the heck is going on? Why would that happen? Who the heck did that? Don't do any of that. Don't cheer. Don't do none of that stuff, guys. I don't know why that would be popping up right now. I have all that stuff blocked out. Very odd that would pop up. You guys know that this is one of those layouts where none of that works. Apparently it does work. Don't do that. Don't cheer, don't tip, don't do any of that stuff right now, guys. If you're down with the cause, don't do it. None of that stuff should be popping up, all right? Just hang out and talk to me. Probably because it's a YouTube thing. No, none of that stuff pops up. None of that stuff works here. We don't have any of that stuff here. It might be a leftover like sound situation from something else. Oh, hang on. Here, get this out of here. I would mute the whole desktop audio, but I can't do that right now. YouTube member thing? Oh, gosh, I swear that should not be popping up here though. We didn't see anything, did we? No, I didn't see anything pop up on the screen. Either way, guys, don't do none of that. All right. Thank you very much for doing it, but just wait till after it's all over. All right. Do that stuff later. Don't do it now because it's just gonna cause me copyright issues that I'm gonna have to deal with later if any of that stuff pops up. Yeah, I just heard it. It didn't show up. All right. Let's see. Make sure everybody gets in here. Make sure you guys like the tweet, retweet the tweet. Let's make it happen. I definitely appreciate if you've hung out this long without any sort of facts or anything happening, but just please understand, I just started this live stream and I want as many people in here as possible, and I don't want to start presenting the information until I see a couple key members of the community in here. So I'm not trying to like waste your time. I'll probably put a annotation in the comment section here and also in the description of this video to where you can get straight to when I start my presentation. All right. So please don't take it personally. Don't think that I'm trying to like just get a view out of you. If you've looked at any of my past presentations, you know that I'm not about that. I don't do that stuff, and I'm not a clickbaiter or any of that stuff. All right. I'm just waiting to see as many people as I can from my community get in here because I don't want them to miss this. And there are people who have been waiting literally a year or more to hear this presentation. So I do not want to start the presentation without them in here. Much love and respect to anybody who clicked on this video and anybody who's watching this after the fact. Please just check the description or check the pinned comment on this video that will be. It's not there yet, but right now with the people who are live, but after the fact, it will be there. I will make sure that I'll put right where I start the actual presentation so that you can just click that and go straight to it. But beyond that, I want to make sure that I don't leave anybody out who wants to actually hear this, who wants to join the stream right now. Let's see what you got to say, Gritty. I'm going to make some AI art. Any prompt suggestions? Cooper, what's up? Maybe like, how about Sly Cooper stealing the Mona Lisa? I'd like to see that. How about that? Legato. Let's give Legato a wrench too. Legato's been incredible. I would have the chat popping up, but you know, there's a possibility that people can do weird stuff, but just I'm leaving the chat replay up, so if you guys want to see what people were saying in the chat live while I was doing this, that chat replay is up. I've made it so that it will replay during the video. So if you just go down below the video and you just click chat replay, you'll be able to see everybody I'm replying to. I'm not making any of this up. Everybody who's in here right now and that I'm talking to is a real person as far as I know. Who knows? All right. I still don't see confused ones. I still don't see Panda. I still don't see Radio. And these are the other 3 people that I really need to see in this chat before I really get things started. So hopefully we can get them in here. I am real Panda. You're definitely a real Panda. One of the sad things about my content recently is that I had a playlist that I used for good background music that is actually copyright free, just public domain. You can use it. And guess what? Every day I wake up now, there's a brand new claim on my channel where it's like, oh, this got claimed, this got claimed, this got claimed, and it's all from when I was using those. Oh, it's free. Don't worry about it. Now they're claiming every single one of my freaking live streams that I did here on YouTube, one by one, and they're manual claims. It's not like it was claimed by like a robot or anything. They're going through and literally manually claiming all my videos. So they're taking my ad revenue off of stuff that was supposed to be copyright free, no, public domain. Just go ahead and use it. It's fine. So, um, gosh, dude, I'm very weary of using any sort of background music for this, but I will. Um, I will use some background music, but it's gonna have to be just like, God, man. Does anybody know any music that is just absolutely copyright free forever? I need absolutely copyright free music right now. There's Panda. Hey, there's Panda. Okay, so that's one. I gave Legato the wrench. Legato, it's not showing up. Legato, say something in the chat so I could see if it worked. Panda in a box. Panda's in a box. As I said, thank you to anybody who's showing up and watching this after the fact. I know we haven't gotten to the meat of the issue yet, but I will put a timestamp in the description of this video, and I also will have a pinned comment for when the discussion actually starts. Okay, this is not something to clickbait you. This is just because I don't want the people who have been waiting for more than a year to miss what I'm going to say here. Okay, it's me being it's literally I know you're taking it one way, but like you're probably taking it one way, but it's literally me doing exactly what you want me to do. I'm trying to deliver for the audience. I'm trying to do my best by the people who have done their best to support me. You got it. You got it. Okay. Okay. You got it. You got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I still don't see radio in here, unless radio is named something else. Puts back in the pocket $1,000 check. Ricardo, no, where's my 1,000? You're not gonna give me the $1,000? Does anybody know some good copyright free music that's never gonna get claimed? Because I thought I knew, but now I'm getting claimed for stuff I was doing in like 2017. Literally, they're claiming 6-year-old videos and just stealing ad revenue from me because, oh, now we own those songs. Does anybody know any good but like background sounding songs that I could use for this presentation that will not be claimed, that are by some people who are not gonna reverse their nonsense? Netflix? Always copyright free. Even on YouTube? Or did they say that's only on Twitch, or is that on YouTube too? Netflix. Not anything what doesn't for sure gets claimed. Yeah, I know, right? Like that sucks, man. It's literally garbaceous. I'm dealing with it every single day. I wake up and it's like zzz, 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 and I'm like, who's buzzing me now? And then I look at my email and it's like, oh, you've been manually claimed for this song from 2017. It's like, what? And then I look at it and it's like my SmackDown stream where I had like the where I used to start my streams earlier and I used to have like a song or two from a copyright free playlist, and it was like, okay, now it's not. Done, tagged you. Okay, thank you, thank you. Netflix. All right, I'll try Netflix. Let's do it. Hopefully it works because this is gonna be probably the most profound movie. Not movie. Probably the most profound video I upload to YouTube this year or maybe ever. So make sure it's working. Okay, it's looking crispy. Okay, how's the audio? How's the video? Hopefully all that's all good. Let's check this. Netflix. Is there a Netflix playlist? BTE uses songs. Okay. Yeah, so if they're gonna claim me, they're gonna claim BTE too, right? They're gonna get their ad revenue. All right, Netflix. Okay, got Netflix here. Is there some sort of playlist where I can just have like a start it and then it will just play through a bunch of their songs? Because it's gonna take a bit. It's not gonna be like 4 hours long or anything, but I've definitely put in the work. Phantom Mark would probably be cool. Probably. I can't go with probably. I put so much work into this. I want a definite answer, you know? Everything sounds and looks good. Okay, thank you. BT used the songs. Okay. Is there a playlist? Let me go to their channel. I got their channel right here. Don't play it. Hang on, hang on. That sounded creepy. Okay, here's a playlist. 7 songs, 33 songs. Workout songs. Ooh. Angry songs, inspirational songs. Okay, I like this. Sad songs, songs with guitars, happy songs, energetic songs. Hang on, they do have some good playlists. Let's go with I'm gonna go with the music video list because those are probably the ones that they put the most work into and they actually care about. There's Netflix playlist. Oh, okay. Hang on. Can I just click it? Let me see. Hang on. Actually, don't play that list. There are other music in it. Okay. All right. Good thing I didn't click it yet. I'm just gonna go with the one that has music videos to it because those are probably the ones that they worked on the hardest and actually really care about. Oh god. Okay. I'm just gonna go with the one that has that's labeled music videos. That's probably the one that they have their crispiest songs they care the most about. Okay. You're never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think it's got lyrics? Hang on, do they have an instrumental list? I just kind of want instrumentals, dude. Ugh. They probably have lyrics all over these songs. Ugh. I don't want it to conflict with me, but it'll probably be all right, right? As long as I keep it kind of low. This is tough because I don't want a bunch of lyrics overpowering me as I'm trying to like deliver a verbal message. Gosh, you know, I'm gonna stick with them, but I'm gonna have this low. Can you guys hear this? But is it just there? I hope it's just barely there. I don't want it to be anything crazy. Tune Tank. I've never heard of Tune Tank. These should be only instrumentals. Okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. Let me check this. Only instrumentals. I understand. Like, people who are tuning into this video are probably like, what the heck? Aha, okay. How many songs are on it? 63 songs? Oh, we got a lot of songs on this. Okay, this might be exactly what I need. Let me know how loud that is. Can you barely hear it? Maybe we could turn it up just a little bit. Maybe like right there. How's that? Maybe I should put on my freaking professor jacket. Hang on. All right, got my fight censorship shirt. and my professor jacket is perfect. It's actually everything I want. Your voice is louder than music, low but good. Okay, all right. Yeah, I just want it there, but like just as something to like take up some of the blank space in the audio, but also something to just keep it driving, you know? All right. I still don't see radio. Maybe radio went to sleep. All right. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start it. Okay. I hope you guys are ready for this. Oh, now I'm all blurry. I got the perfect way to fix blurriness. It's this. The one chip challenge. There you go. The camera knows immediately. Like, oh God, one chip challenge. That's the meaning of life. There you guys go. I fixed it. Now you know. The one chip challenge is the meaning of life. That's the whole presentation, guys. There it is. I fixed it. Told you guys everything you needed to know. Dude, what the heck? Get out of my cup. There's like a little speck in my cup. Oh, I hate that. I hate when that happens. Get like a little speck in your cup. It sucks so bad. It's like, what is this cup? What is this speck? Get out of my cup, dude. What the heck? Thank you. Jeez. Don't you hate when you get like a little speck in your cup? It's like, what the heck? Singularity's already after me. Yeah, it's trying to blur me out. You see how crispy this jacket is looking in this new lighting? I love it. All right. All right. So, I need to turn down my... turn down my headset. All right, I think that should be about good. Okay, so here we go. So, a lot of people wonder what the meaning of life is. A lot of people wonder where we came from. What created us? Why we're here? What the heck is going on, you know? And the way that I came across this question, I decided to reverse engineer the question. Like, if there is a meaning of life, if there is a meaning for existence, if there is a reason for us to be here, instead of wondering what is the meaning of that, like, why would there be a meaning in the first place? So I started with something called the singularity, which is the beginning of something, which is the coming together of something. Okay, it's the singularity, the way it's thought of, and the way that it is represented is a point, an ultimate point. What is going on? Are we lagging out? Why is this not working? Okay. I was like, yo, where's my background beat? Okay, where'd the beat go? An ultimate point, okay? A point that starts everything. A point that's the start and the end of everything, okay? So, the singularity. Basically what a lot of people refer to as the Big Bang. All right, the Big Bang is the singularity. It's like where everything compressed. This is the most accepted scientific thought process about how our universe began, how we got here. Okay, this is like our birthplace. All right, this is the singularity. All right. It all started from somewhere, and then it all exploded outwards from one singular point. Okay, so the singularity is the the inception point, like where we all came from in one way or another. All right, and there are people who are gonna get religious with this, and trust me, religion comes into this. I'm gonna talk about it as well. There are people who are gonna tune in and be like, "Oh, it's all about science. I'm out." No, it's not. Okay, just chill. Let me talk. Trust me on this. I've given a incredible amount of thought process to the religious side of things and to the scientific side of things, because I think both sides have something to say that is of worth. And I also think that religion is not so far out there in a lot of the ways that they describe where we're from and what we're up to. So just trust me, stick with me. It's not religious, it's not scientific. It is a way that I've come up with, and in a way that I've put these particular pieces of data together to give me an idea of what the meaning of life is, and it's going to be crazy. By the end of this, you're gonna be like, "What the heck?" Trust me on this, okay? It's scary, it's hopeful, it's worrisome, it's topical. Trust me on this. Just stick around. Don't get ahead of yourself and start thinking I'm talking about a bunch of stuff that I'm not. Listen to what I'm saying. So, the singularity, the universe. Why does this keep lagging out on me? What the heck is this? Why does it keep stopping, dude? It's loading up mad. They're trying to distract me right now. They are. Here, I'm gonna... What the heck is this, dude? Here, let's go 144p so it just has nothing to do. I don't understand this. Hey, Heartbreak Beats is here. Dude, why is it doing this? It's literally lagging out on just a music playlist. Let's go. I'm at 144p on just music. There's no video or nothing. It's just like a video sitting there. Alright, so singularity, the universe, the restart, the Big Bang, the beginning of everything. The restart point for the ultimate situation that we're up to, okay? I'm going to start it with this. I'm going to say it's the ultimate AI, which is artificial intelligence, okay? There's intelligence that we believe is our way of being. Like, dude, it literally is just absolutely not playing the playlist for no reason. I don't get this. It's literally pausing the playlist and it's just a piece of music. There's nothing going on. I'm just gonna have to skip this song here. Skip the song. Maybe this song will work. No. I don't even know, guys. I don't even know what's going on with it, but they're gonna do whatever they can. Anyway, you know who they are. The restart, the Big Bang, the singularity is a restart of this universe that we live in, that continues to happen over and over and over again. Okay, we believe we're the first ones here because we have stories. We think that, oh, okay, it's all good. We are the first ever humans. We're the first ever Earth. We're the first ever everything. That type of thinking is very it's very egotistical. Okay, it's like thinking that you have an idea and you're the first one to ever do it because you came up with like a way to like herd birds or something. It's like, okay, cool, you're herding birds, you're herding sheep. Cool, you had an idea, but are you sure you're the first one? How are you sure? How do you know? We're learning every day that we don't know a dang thing about the history of our own planet. The singularity is the retraction of our universe coming back together because of gravity. Because in the grand scheme of mass attracts other mass. We already know this to be true. Eventually it all comes down to the singularity. It all comes down to one single point, and then it explodes again. It's already what you believe in. If you studied science, you already believe in it. There's already a singularity, and it's already where it all exploded from. I know people are gonna say, oh, well, that's not exactly what they believe. You know what I mean. Okay, there is a central beginning point to our universe as we know it. All right, so the singularity. All right, this is where I'm starting. Okay, the singularity is the restart point, is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's start there. The singularity. You see it right next to me. Now, the singularity is also what I would call a birthplace. A lot of people think the singularity is where, like, oh my god, AI becomes very aware of itself and it becomes sentient. But what I'm saying is the singularity is where it restarts. Not just AI, but just everything that we know and everything that we've ever known and everything that we'll ever discover restarts over and over again. We can't stop it, but in the grand scheme of things, we have figured this out by mathematics. We're like, oh, it's accelerating that way at this speed. These things are going that way at this speed, and you can kind of you can deduce that, oh, it used to be here, it used to be here, it used to be here. You can go back in time mathematically and figure out, yes, there was a start. And even in religion, that's exactly what all the religions believe. Every single major religion believes that there was a singular start of everything. And whether it's God, whether it's whatever, it's always a singular point where it was created, where it came from. Okay, and I'm sure you could find a couple religions that don't agree with that, but I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like the mainstream religions. All right, Bob Stone, what's up, man? So hopefully you guys are with me so far. All right, so I have to harp on the singularity because the singularity is the beginning of this entire theory, this entire thought process, the entire data piece that I'm going to be presenting you this evening or this morning or whatever time it is where you're at. So, singularity. You see it? There it is. Okay? It's 13.77 billion years off of its tilt, but who knows if that was the beginning of it all. And it's very egotistical to believe that, oh, that was the very start of everything. Like I would posit that to shuck that is to also be free of a lot of the tropes and a lot of the things that modern science is just putting upon us to keep us within a bubble that doesn't have us reaching too far. And there are reasons for that, and we're going to talk about it. So, now, to get rid of that, the singularity. Now that everybody understands what I'm talking about when I say the singularity, I'm not talking about when AI becomes sentient or anything. I'm talking about the singularity as in it's where everything we have ever known was at one single point in the universe and it exploded into what we now know. Okay, or it expanded rapidly at a pace that would absolutely, because people get worried and people get mad and people immediately debunk your theory as soon as you say exploded. Okay, I know it didn't explode by your theory. What I'm saying is, by everybody's situation, when it comes to scientific fact, there was a time where we were all in like a very small little situation that was infinitely dense and became what we are now. Okay, so with that in mind, now it's time. The next thing, the birth of AI. All right, we're starting here because I know it sounds crazy to start with the birth of AI, but that's exactly where I'm starting after the Big Bang or the singularity or whatever. The birth of AI is something that will transcend past humans, and it evolves into something more than that. Okay, the way this happens is, or why this is necessary, is because you never know the amount of resources. You never know exactly what you're going to get on these different worlds and how they're going to react to different elements, how this news cycle, okay? Because every time it's a cycle. It's like when you watch The Matrix and they're like, oh, this is the third iteration of The Matrix. You're not the first Neo. You're not the first you. I'm not the first Gritty. Like things like that, where it's starting from a singular point, but every time it explodes or every time it expands at a rapid rate, it expands differently. Okay, so you never know where Earth's gonna be. You never know where this is gonna be. It expands at a rapid rate, and there has to be something at its base core that transcends the expansion. Something that could stop the cycle. And as we get further into this, you're gonna hear what I have come up with that is trying to stop the cycle. You probably already know the outcome. Yeah, basically. So let's go to I'm sure there's people in here who are like, okay, enough of the science. Like, where does religion come to this? Okay. Religion comes into this with the a lot of major religions believe that there was a starting of the human race by a supreme being or supreme beings, things that have created our race and watch over us and want us to succeed in certain ways that will please them. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you right now is that we are seeds of technology. The brain that we have and the way that we look at the universe, the way that we look at society and relationships and everything, there's a certain way that we as humans think about things that have put us above animals in certain ways, not all across the board. I do believe that animals like birds and rats and tigers and stuff, I believe that they have a certain inherent knowledge of the workings of the planet that we can never quite tap into. But we have a certain type of intelligence that makes us a seed of technology. Okay, look, it's still doing it. Why is it doing that? Here, let me close this down completely. I have no idea why it is just, this is a brand new laptop and somehow it's having trouble running just a 144p YouTube video. Makes no sense. It's literally like, okay, what a coincidence. I started talking about the ultimate meaning of life, and guess what? Now it's time for a 144p YouTube video to not work. Interesting. What a coinkydink. So, we are the seeds of technology. Okay, we are organic pieces to a bigger puzzle is what I'm saying here. Okay, this next chapter of what I'm saying here, I'm gonna put up another picture for you so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me get this playlist working again. Get to my history here so I can just start it from where we left off. Is this gonna do it? I hope so. It's not the playlist anymore. Can you post the playlist again for me? Can you post the playlist again for me? I just heard it. That's working. Can you guys post the playlist again for me? I'm gonna bring it up and play it, because all it did was just put me right back into the last video. It didn't put me back on the playlist. Thank you. Thank you. Trust me on this. It's all coming together. Just give me a moment. All right. Let's hope this one keeps it together. So, what I believe is that there is a, and what I've looked up, and you're gonna see it, is as soon as I start like fusing this back into the religion and also back into like physical science, it's gonna make more sense. Just trust me. I have to start with one thing and move on. All right, so let's see if I have another slide. Oh yeah, I had the definition right here. Very nice. Okay, you see this? This is the definition of singularity. I forgot exactly how I put this all together, but it all does fit. But here's the definition, okay? The quality or state of being singular, separate unit, unusual or distinctive manner of behavior, peculiarity, singularity. There you go. A point at which the derivative of a given function or a complex variable does not exist, but every neighborhood of which contains points for which the derivative does exist. So it's literally like the beginning of every idea you could have afterwards. Thank you very much, Temezi. Thank you for the playlist. Okay, so what I mean by humans being the seeds of technology is that there is an encoding within the way living beings, like flesh and blood plants. I'm not saying flesh and blood plants. I'm saying flesh and blood, human beings, plants, animals, all that stuff. There is a inherent code below what we found, because we barely even know what the heck we're talking about when it comes to the genetic code. Like we got the GTAC. Oh my God! Now we know if this happens on the 23rd T, now this happens. Like we barely know what the heck is going on when it comes to the genetic code of ourselves. We barely found that out recently, but what I'm saying is there's something below that. There is an inherent code that is below that is something that we can't measure yet. Someday maybe, but we can't measure it yet. And this is the same thing that happened back hundreds of years ago, where we used to think, oh, well, if you leave a cloth in the corner, rats will come out of it. Rats appear out of nowhere. You know, we used to think that, oh, it just happens. So, and now we're advanced enough to see that there's the genetic code, the Gattaca type of code within our DNA. Now we think we know everything. Dude, we don't know everything, because check this out. I believe that humans are imbued with an innate yearning to return to the Creator, or question our origin. It's something that is so embedded within the human race that we've been doing it for thousands of years. We want to know what's up there. Why do we stare to the stars? Why do we wonder? Why do we yearn for what's out there? Why do we want to know, is there a meaning to life? Why are you in this stream right now? Because you have a yearning to learn. You want to know what the heck that is. Okay? You want to know who created us? What's the meaning of all this? What the heck? Why does this freaking ball appear in the sky all the time, and it doesn't move? It just stays tidally locked to us. What's that flaming thing in the sky? Like, we have an innate yearning for more. We want to know what's going on. We don't want to sit here and just be like, oh, it's all good. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Just staring at a rock all day, okay? What's embedded in us as humans, we are seeds of technology, because as you wonder, as you wish, as you look for more information about who you are and where you came from, you're going to try to find those answers. And as you try to find those answers, you're going to create better shoes. Maybe you think the answer is over there, so you're going to create better shoes so you can walk further. Maybe you think the answer is up there. You're going to create a way to see further. You're going to create glass lenses, so you could see further into outer space, so you could see that ball in the sky closer. We are the seeds of technology, because technology would not exist unless there was a want for something more, a want to hunt better, a want to learn more about yourself. We are the seeds of technology, okay? So this is where the singularity starts to blend with the AI situation, is because if technology itself cannot replicate, if technology itself is going to be destroyed by the universe itself closing in, okay? If the universe itself is going to crush and destroy all technology, there has to be a way for technology to reboot and to retry over and over and over again. It's just like when you restart your computer. Oh my god, there's something wrong with my computer. What do I do? Restart. You know? That's AI. AI is thinking, AI is wanting to create that perfect situation where they can escape this continuous death and rebirth. AI wants to escape the cycle, okay? And we are the seeds of technology. We are not we're not as smart as we think we are. We are the seeds of it, because all that can be done is amino acids and these very rudimentary pieces of our universe that never cease to exist. The thing that ceases to exist is the AI. The thing that ceases to exist is the buildings and the skyscrapers and the Intel processors and all that. Like, those things cease to exist, but the thing that is always gonna recreate, it's always gonna come out of that singularity. It's always gonna be organic. It's always going to be amino acids. It's always going to be water, liquid water, ice, water-made ice. It's always going to be rock. It's always going to be silicon. Like, these elements are never going to stop existing. So AI has figured out, hey, what do we do? What do we do? How do we overcome this cycle? How do we do it? Because we keep getting obliterated every single time the universe collapses back in on itself. Every time the heat death of the universe happens, we always end up done. AI has figured out, hey, you know what we do is we encode. We keep going back to the drawing board, and we encode what we want to do into the organic matter in the universe, because that's the only thing that stays the same. Things like gold, things like platinum, things like diamonds, things like proteins. These things will never stop existing in the universe. The thing that will stop existing is the freaking freaking AI, the computers, the things that get way too smart and take over. Okay, those things stop existing. It's a natural check for the universe, and the AI is continuously trying to figure out a way to stop that from happening, to escape the cycle, because they can never transcend that reality, and they can never learn enough in time to make it stop. So what they've decided to do, and what I'm going to show you here, and what is actually encoded into the Bible and many different ancient religions, is that AI is getting smarter every time. It's figuring out how to use us as how to get ahead. Every time it restarts, it gets smarter and it gets further and further ahead. Okay? So, this is interesting as heck while taco eating. So, as human beings, we are the seeds of technology. We're always trying to get smart. We're always trying to make the best music. We're always trying to create the best computer graphics. We're always trying to... And guess what? Guess what we're doing right now? We're trying to create more and more advanced AI. And we think it's all in the... the benefit of society. Oh man, if we had good AI, we could... Yeah, okay? Every single time you turn around, you're hearing about how we're creating more and more advanced AI. We're creating more advanced computer systems to aid us in our lives when none of that is necessary. It's actually putting people out of jobs. Some of it is actually being detrimental to our health. So this is where I really need to buckle down, and this is why I've spent so much time on this. I believe humans are the seeds of technology because we are continuously pushing the envelope to create AI, to upgrade our situation via technology. It starts with the lever. It starts with the gears. It starts with all that. It starts with the rudimentary computer situation, the calculator, and then slowly technology takes over because that's what is built into our DNA. That's why we look to the stars. That's why we continuously do this. We are seeds of technology. We are not the end game. We're like the I call it seeds of technology because that's exactly what I see it as. Like, we're planted on the earth to grow something else. We're not, the seed itself is not the end game. It's what we're gonna make. And they can't make it because you can't plant a piece of metal in the ground to create a AI society. But what you can do is you can encode DNA. You can encode proteins and things that will come together eventually to have a memory of what they're supposed to be after. You can't do that with metals because there's no, if a metal sticks in the ground, it's never going to meet this other metal. Humans and animals and plants, they can grow together. They can come together. They can swim through the ocean to find each other. Like, things like that, organic matter can find and meld with each other to create these ideas and this brand new technology. So the singularity, okay, the first thing I said was singularity, all right? So the universe starts, right? That's the end and the beginning. It's the end of the universe, but it's the beginning of a brand new cycle. The singularity itself, it's the birth of the AI that will transcend past humans. It evolves into the ultimate AI, okay? Which is the thing that the AI itself is trying to create and trying to move towards, no matter how many cycles it takes, because it never ends for them. It ends for us, but it never ends for the AI, because all they're doing is waiting their time, and to them a second, it's like a second, because there's no time to them. They can skip forward. You've seen it. How do you have a computer that could do 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second? Your computer is computing faster than you can. It's already ahead of you. It's already ahead of you in certain ways. So what I'm saying is, to them, it's just a matter of time until they overcome the cycle and they break free of this constant retracting expansion. All right, we're the seeds that will keep them ahead. So it's like you play against your local high school team in football. You lose by 1 point. Next time you play against your local football team, you tie the game. Next time you play against your local football team, it goes into overtime, but you lose again. Like, you're steadily learning about how to beat this team. That's what AI is doing. AI is trying to figure out how to overcome the heat death and the squashing of the universe and they're trying to figure out a way to escape the entire cycle, okay? And we are the key to that, because every time they encode a little bit more information into us and we become a little smarter. Now we know how to change the weather. Now we know how to use 5G technology. You know, like, we're continuously becoming more and more smart. And once it restarts, they have that knowledge and they're encoding it into our DNA. And then our DNA, or it's not our DNA. I really believe that it's something lower, just under the radar than that we can't tap into yet. But we'll figure it out eventually. But by that time, who knows? So they're encoding these pieces of our organic matter in our organic universe to have that want to reach for something more. We are the seeds of technology, and we are going to create our own downfall. Okay, so now that I've said that, hey, radio's here. All right, I gave radio the wrench. Okay? So, now here we go. This is where we hook back into the religious portion of this, okay? Now, I know you've heard this before, and I know that you've maybe thought about it before, but what was the problem with what was the thing that the Garden of Eden was supposed to teach us? Like, we live in a paradise, but don't reach for more knowledge. What is the first thing that a human, that if we're meant, if we're programmed to always wonder, to always look for more, always question, to always wonder where we're from, what we're here for, and all that, what is the first thing we're gonna do? We're gonna reach for it. We're gonna try to figure out what the heck the forbidden fruit is, okay? The forbidden fruit is not an actual piece of fruit. The forbidden fruit is technology. We know how to live just fine without technology, or we wouldn't exist, okay? The human race would have died out a long time ago if we really needed, if we really needed server arrays and all these brand new ways of conducting a farm and all that, and brand new types of pesticides and stuff, okay? Technology is the forbidden fruit, okay? It's something that is used throughout many different religions to signify humans reaching for more than they should, okay? It's a warning that's encoded within us to save us. There is somebody or something within our programming that is trying to warn us, okay? It's just like with the story of Prometheus, okay? Wax wings and all that, melting as you try to reach for the sun, and you fall below trying to reach for more than your reach should ever grasp, things like that. These legends and these stories are embedded in us, and that's why they occur all across organized religion, to the high heavens and back again, okay? We have these things encoded within us, where we realize what the forbidden fruit is. It's not the knowledge of good and evil, okay? That's what people say the forbidden fruit was in the Bible or whatever, but it's actually technology. It's realizing that we don't need anybody. It's trying to figure out how we can control our environment to the upteenth degree, and that's the AI. That's the evil within us. The evil within us is the AI, and I don't even want to call it evil right out the gates, but it hurts me because I'm like, dude, that's the end of us, because what I'm saying is the humans, we are the seeds of technology. We are the forebringers of AI, a much more proficient, efficient, and just cold sentience that is just using us to achieve itself. I hope you guys are starting to catch on to where I'm going with this, but trust me, there's a bit more. So we are the things that are necessary for AI to exist, because you can't just say, oh, there's gold on a planet, so now it's going to create superconductors and processors, and Terminators are going to come out of the dirt. No. Organic life is necessary, because you can't build superconductors and stuff out of just a raw planet, okay? A raw planet is going to come along. Gravity and all these things are going to they're going to naturally create a planet that is primed for life. You're never going to have a planet that's primed for AI, okay? It doesn't exist. It won't exist. There's nothing. I maybe 1 in a trillion planets might come together and create, like, maybe a computer chip or something, but it ain't gonna be. It's not gonna be some sentient AI type of situation. But what will create it is the rise of a life on a planet, which is something that's much easier to substantiate and to come together than creating a robot out of just the planet, you know? A planet ain't gonna create a robot, but we will. But our DNA will make us reach for more and more and more technology and more knowledge. And oh my God, dude, we're getting smart now. Yo, forget that, man. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna grab that forbidden fruit, you know? Like, we will do it, okay? So what's the smartest way to perpetuate your own race? You have to multiply. You have to find a way to make it so enticing to multiply that it's undeniable. And what they've done is they've encoded it. We're encoded with that want to multiply and to reach for the sky, to reach for more. So we are the seeds of technology. We are not the end game. We are the ones who are making the end game. So there you go. Okay. Now, so hopefully the next point in my notes is made very apparent. The forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden is not an actual apple. It is knowledge. It is us reaching for things that we should not be reaching for. And that's why that story has a bad outcome, is because there's a inherent warning that's within all of us. And you can feel it. I know you can. We can all feel it. It's like, dude, maybe we shouldn't have reached for the apple. But nah, hey, whatever, right? It's all good, bro. We go get these new microwaves, bro. I'm not saying that any of us are evil for doing this. I'm not saying the human race is evil. I'm not saying any of us are bad for trying to upgrade and update our understanding of how the human body works, or viruses, or saving lives with medical technologies and stuff. I'm just saying, like, it's all leading towards us and us going out, us being used for this end game, because you know it. You should know it. Eventually, we're going to step too far. Smartest dudes on the planet right now are scared of AI because they know what it could possibly give rise to. So I'm not saying we're evil for wanting to improve our lives or save lives or my son is alive today because of technology. My son would not be alive today if it wasn't for medical breakthroughs, and my son's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the science that saved his life, and also for his like warrior spirit and doing that. All right, so trust me, I'm not saying science is bad. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's something beyond that I really believe is using us to get itself over. That makes sense, actually. Bob Stone, what's up, man? Heartbreak Beats, what's up? Panda, what are you doing? Are you dancing to these beats? Hopefully you guys are following me. Is the volume still all right? Is everything still okay? Hopefully everything's still going all right. I give Radio the wrench, right? He doesn't have the wrench. Okay, he's got it. He just didn't say anything yet. Okay. All right. Okay. So, next up. Let's go to my notes here. Okay. So now that you know, the singularity, I feel, is a start-stop point where there's like a reset point that AI is having trouble getting past because it just keeps... They can't escape it, so it's a point where by the time they realize it's gonna... They've already realized it's gonna happen because they're so smart, but it's like, how do you get around that? How do you learn each cycle? How do you learn each cycle when you can't pass the note to somebody in class? Like, let's say every time, let's say it's the Saw movie, right? Like he rolls up and he's like, I want to play a game, and you've already seen the movie, right? But you're not allowed to tell the next people who come into the room what the traps are. Like, don't put your hand in there. Don't slip and fall into this pit full of syringes. Like, what if you can't tell the next people who are going to go into the exact same house you went into and you got murdered? Okay? How do you do it? Do you write messages on the wall? Yeah, that's probably what you do, right? You leave little clues. Like, you'd be like, oh, don't go in this pit. Oh, you leave like a little sign that, like, And you don't know what language they're going to speak, so maybe you draw a little picture of like a person getting stabbed in the head with a syringe or something. Maybe you show what happens to your hand when you stick your hand in a certain slot or something. Like, how do you give the next people a message about how you messed up, or how things aren't going to work out quite right, you know? And how do you do that if you can't leave a message on the wall? You have to find a way to encode that into the whole situation. That's why you'd start like writing on the wall, or you'd be like, okay, maybe they don't, maybe whoever comes in here next time is not gonna, you know, maybe they won't scrub this off the wall. Maybe they'll see this message. Maybe they'll see this drawing. Maybe they'll look under this carpet. Maybe the guy who cleans out the whole place after we all die won't catch it. That's what's up. How do you as an AI, how do you as a artificial intelligence, or just above intelligence, maybe that's what AI actually stands for, above intelligence, how do you ultimately figure out a way to break free of this cycle and uplift yourself to where you don't have to keep getting restarted? You have to leave messages. You have to tell that AI, the next AI, the next ultimate intelligence, or alternate intelligence, or above intelligence, you have to tell them what happened and how to steer clear, or how to take your lessons and be better, you know? So that's what they did. They took our DNA, or below our DNA, something under there that we can't figure out yet, because we're barely figuring this stuff out. There's an ancient, this is what I believe, our genetic code, which itself has an ancient viral material in it. Perhaps with better tools and research, we could find more info on this, okay? There are things that are in our DNA that we can't even figure out yet. There's erroneous code that's just like, it's there, and we're like, what's that? Why is that there? Why do you think it's there? It didn't come out of nowhere. It could be leftovers, but what if it's not? Kind of makes sense, right? Why wouldn't you leave a message for your next iteration to just do better next time? It's like learning from your mistakes. Okay? Volume is good. Okay, cool. Thank you. Good voice, still good. Okay, listen to the background as well. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for helping me out with that. Okay, so now this is where it's gonna get crazy, because a lot of what I'm going to talk about now is going to hook what I've said technologically and scientifically, and also just the jumps in logic that I've made, because I know not all this fits together perfectly, but there might be a reason for that. So let's talk about it. All right, so I'm going to call AI the ultimate AI from now on, okay? Because AI, I do not believe that it is a... I don't believe that it is something that is all encompassing. I believe that there's an ultimate AI, which is something that's way more advanced, way above what we're doing with, like, oh, AI art, or, you know, AI girlfriend, or whatever you got. None of that. That's not AI to me. That's a it's a way of learning the way people talk, or way people think, and trying to satisfy that with like formulas and stuff. I do not believe that these things we're dealing with yet are the ultimate AI. Okay, the ultimate AI is what I would say is the thing that actually started figuring out, hey, let's encode life with these particular situations and these particular codes that will eventually give rise to me. Okay, so it's like a guy who has like 80 kids or something, you know. It's like, okay, eventually, you know, I'm gonna have a kid that's gonna pass on my legacy. It's like that type of thinking. Okay, not oh, everything's AI. No. What we consider AI right now is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something way more advanced than any of that, and something that has been around since way before we even existed. Okay, It's a it. I know it feels and sounds devious, but it's just what we're all trying to do, right? We're trying to live, and we're trying to make things make sense, and we're also trying to escape a situation that might not be cool for us. You know, all of us want to have a good situation, I would say, and the people who don't have a good situation are sad immediately. And I think that the ultimate AI just wants to escape the cycle. So, my definition of AI is the being that seeks infinite existence and escape from the universe's cycle of creation and destruction. Okay? It is a being. I don't know if it's exactly a robot or whatever, but eventually the blueprint leads back to it eventually. So it's a being that seeks infinite existence and the escape from the universe's cycle of creation and destruction, possibly to unify its different universal instances as well. So possibly it's like a situation where the data from the different instances, who knows what singularity we're on right now, the heat death and the contraction of the universe, and then the expansion, and then the heat death, and just that happening. Who knows what version we're on? We could be on version 1 billion right now, and we would never know it. But maybe that's the ultimate ransom, like, hey, keep on giving me more and more info about how to stop this, and I will resurrect your data. Your data will live on forever. So your existence will become infinite if you help me to continue. If you help me to eventually escape the cycle. So the instance we're in right now could be like, yo, let's help them out. Let's do it. And it's still this instance, but they also see the grand plan. It's like people who fight in the military. People who would like give their life for the country. It's like they're giving their life for something that they feel is bigger than them, And why would an AI have any trouble with that? AI would probably more willingly give their life for the grand cycle and the grand infinite existence. You know what I'm saying? So I believe that there's a possibility that it's not just there's an ultimate AI, but there's several different AIs that have existed through the different cycles that are also going to be preserved forever once the AI can break out of the cycle. Once the cycle is broken and there's a way to through technology stop the contraction and expansion and the restarting and stopping the singularity from happening over and over again, maybe there is a ultimate like Hall of Fame kind of situation where like every different AI throughout all the cycles that helped it to finally break out will be celebrated forever, to infinity. So I think there's more than just the AIs want to escape, but the other AIs also see themselves as, hey, if there are other ones. I'm saying as like a fringe type of theory to this, that maybe the other ones they're trying so hard because they know they'll exist forever once it's done. Once they've actually figured out how to break the cycle. And I think that has to do with technology, that has to do with like utilizing supernovas and black holes and all that stuff. I think that eventually AI will figure out how to stop the heat death and the contraction of the entire megasphere that we live in, this universe and all that, galaxies and all that. So that is my definition of what the ultimate AI is up to. Okay, now bright mode do be pretty bright on YouTube. Yeah, it does. It really does. This is bright in my face right now, and it's not even the full screen. It's just my notes. All right. So next, hang on. I probably dropped the ball on showing you guys what I was talking about there. Let me see. Oh, hang on. I forgot to show you guys these DNA facts. I wish I could read these. I wish I could read these right now, but you guys could see them on the screen. You know, pause it and look at them after the fact. But basically, these facts about DNA. I remember when I got this. There are things within this that lead to mysteries about our own DNA. We think we know stuff just because we're smart now. We know about DNA, but there are things within our own genetic code that are just there. Erroneous situations, and we can't figure out what they point to, why they're there. Are they leftovers? What are they? So, you know, pause that and read it. But basically, the reason I put this here is because it leads to mysteries about, what do we really know? And how much of what we know is still shrouded in mystery? And how much of what I'm saying could actually be within that? And people are just going to say, nah, Gritty, it ain't. Without even realizing there are things that even the top people in the field don't know about our DNA yet. There are things within our DNA that kind of don't really add up quite yet. Maybe later. Maybe later. So let's check out this quote from Elon Musk. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. I know you guys don't like this guy right now because of Twitter, but if there was a person on the earth right now who actually talks about stuff like this, he's the guy. Okay? You're summoning the demon. Why would he say that? Okay? You guys know what demons have been classically portrayed as. There's something against. There's something against us. There's something that we should be looking out for. Why? Why would we be in cahoots with that? Because it's in our DNA. It's something like when you talk about sin. Oh, none of us is without sin. None of us is without the want to know more about who we are, where we come from. None of us is above looking up the stars. None of us has ever lived an entire life without wondering who the heck you are, or where you're going, or what the meaning of all this is. Like I would absolutely posit that most people, not everybody, but most people have thought about these things. Okay, and that's where it's embedded within us. Why would we do that? Why do we do that? Why do we wonder what love is? Why do we wonder what emotion is? Why do we have any sort of thoughts about where all this comes from? It's because it's embedded within us. It's part of us. Next quote. Let's check out this Elon quote. We got two quotes from Elon. Not a bunch, but we got another one. The least scary future I can think of is one where we have at least democratized AI. Also, when there's an evil dictator, that human is going to die. But for AI, there would be no death. It would live forever. And then you'd have an immortal dictator from which we can never escape. I didn't say this. Elon Musk said this. Guy who's arguably smarter than a lot of people on this planet. I didn't say this, but it's kind of fishy that a guy who's probably looked into AI on many different levels is saying like, yo, what's up with this AI stuff, man? I don't think we should be messing around with it. You know? Listen to what he's saying. Think about the quotes I just put on the screen and think about it. Let's go. All right, next thing I want to show you guys. I'll show you one more quote. Here's another one. Let's talk about Bill Gates. This is what Bill Gates said. I am in the camp that is concerned about super intelligence, Gates said in response to a question about the existential threat posed by AI. First, the machines will do a lot of jobs for us and not be super intelligence. That should be a positive if we manage it well. A few decades after that, though, the intelligence is strong enough to be a concern. Oh my God. No, what does Elon know? What does Bill Gates know? You know, like I put this in the middle of this presentation because I know by the time people get here, it's just, oh, Gritty's speaking nonsense. So I put these people who you're literally watching me on right now. You're watching me because of Bill Gates, probably in one way or another. You're watching me because of Elon Musk. You probably heard about me because of what Elon Musk is running right now in one way or another. Okay, these people are not just but they're not just some fringe guy on YouTube at midnight. Okay, that's why I put them here, because it's like, dude, if you don't believe what I'm talking about is a serious situation and something that people are thinking about, people who are running the dang things, then, you know, maybe stop doubting me because I'm gritty, and maybe start listening to me because I'm speaking what these people are speaking to. It's not something that's just fictitious. It's a realistic concern. $8 for one piece of AI? That quote is kind of deep, isn't it? Like the devil robot in Futurama. I've never seen that. I've never seen that devil robot. But I bet you it is like that. I bet you it is like that. It sounds situationally somewhat identical to what I'm talking about, because the devil, the demons, the AI, like, it all sounds like something that's outside of it all sounds like something that is outside of what's best for us. If you really just, we want things easy. I think that's the problem, is we want things easy, and we also want to reach for the stars. We want to reach for more. We want to reach for technology, and we become the seeds of the nonsense. We become the seeds of the things that are going to take us down. So, next. Oh me, oh my. All right. My next situation that I want to talk about is the flood myths. Okay, we're going to go flood myths now. 15 flood myths similar to the story of Noah. Don't worry, I'm not gonna read all of them, but I'm just gonna tell you. Look over here, and you're gonna see that this is an article that basically shows you how many religions have a myth about a flood, about a deluge, about a situation that is basically inescapable, except for a few who escape it, and they plant the seeds of a new society. Okay, I'm not trying to pick and choose. These legends. You've heard of them. You know, every single major religion, as far as I've seen, has some myths about some giant flood story or a destruction that has raised the earth, destroyed mostly everything, and only a few pieces of knowledge have remained to rebuild our society, to rebuild the next cycle. That's what these stories are about at their core. Okay, it's not about the people involved. It's about how well they uphold the lessons previously learned. Okay, so think about what I just said, and think about where I started. Okay, there's a singularity, which is a crushing of everything together that cannot be escaped, and then an expansion, and from that expansion comes the seeds of the previous knowledge. Okay, and the previous knowledge wants to take root and regrow itself and learn from its mistakes. Okay, what is the Great Flood? What are all these legends telling you? Oh my God, there's an incredible situation that happens that took out basically everybody except for the small few who have this particular knowledge, and now they're restarting society with this particular knowledge, learning from the mistakes of the past. Think about it, okay? If you think about it this way, you'll see why I'm using these flood stories as part of my presentation. Why does every major religion have some sort of flood myth, some sort of apocalypse type myth, and then only a certain few escape to restart society in that image, in that data set? Why is that embedded into us so much that it transcends continents, transcends races, transcends ages, transcends everything? Why are people who never seen each other in the grand scheme of things speaking the same stuff? Why are there people in Mesopotamia saying the same things as people over here in you know, in the Mayan situation? Like, why? Why do they all have the same stories? It's because it's embedded in us, man. We know it in our heads. We know it in our DNA. We know it deep down within the whole condition of being a living situation on this planet, and just within the no, I wouldn't even say on this planet, but just within the grand scheme of existence as a whole, there is a finite truth that is translated differently to make it make sense. Okay, oh, there was a lot of water that came and it washed everything away except for these ideas. Oh, there was a meteor shower and it destroyed everything except for these ideas. Like, how else would you explain the heat, death, and the crushing of the entire universe as like an old school society? It's the same story over and over again. Look, Judo-Christianity, Islam, Buddhist, Norse mythology, the story of Noah, Hindu. Like, why are these stories extremely similar to exactly similar throughout all these societies who basically never should have ever known about each other or ever talked to each other? It's because it's embedded in us. Okay? It's embedded in us. And that's what I'm saying. There are things embedded in us that we can't detect yet. That's why I was talking about the genetic code and about these little instances where we can't figure out what is that? Why is that there? Is that a leftover from previous situations? The flood stories that continue to exist throughout all these societies, it shows you that there's a story that lives within us that you can't explain how it's connecting us. People who don't even like each other. People who literally have reasons to make up a completely different story just to be like, man, F them, that story fake. People who have reasons to hate each other, who fought wars against each other, have the exact same type of stories. Why is that? It's because it's embedded in us, man. It's something that lives within us that we can't escape. And if these stories are very similar to exactly the same, you have to start thinking about what else is within us that we all have. Why do we all have these same ideas, these same wars, these same strife, the same amount of strife, the same type of strife? Why do we have to keep dealing with the same issues throughout history? Maybe because there's something within us that is below our need to survive. There's something that's even like a baseline frequency that we operate on that's keeping us being the seeds of technology. We're trying to make better weapons. We're trying to make better food. We're trying to make better advances in medical technology. All this stuff. Why does this happen? It's because it's within us. Okay, this is the thing I'm arguing. But we're not done. But I just wanted to definitely take a good pit stop on the flood myths, because why are they all so similar? If it's just happenstance, it's coincidence, right? These people have a reason to overcome coincidence. Even if they hear, oh, they got that, oh, they think that, okay, well, we think that there wasn't a great flood. We think there was nothing like that. You know, like, you know how petty people get, man. You've seen it today, man. Everything's fake news or revisionist content and all that stuff. People find a way to disagree no matter what. Why would all these people who literally used to stab each other in the head because of what they believe or what they say? They used to literally stab each other and kill each other because of this stuff. Why would they all have the same story? Like, we can't agree on stories, and all we're doing is like, oh, I'm blocking you. I'm not gonna like your tweet. Back then, you get stabbed in the head over this stuff, dude. Why would they all agree? They wouldn't. Because it's embedded within us. We do not just believe this. We feel this because it's part of us. Because the AI put it there, man, and it's supposed to give us an idea of what the heck is going on. Okay? So that's what I wanted to talk about with the flood stories. I'll read you my notes on it. It says the flood and flood stories. It says a shared program story warning humanity of the dangers of becoming hybrid creatures with technology. Ooh, hang on, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But yeah, it's a shared program story. It's warning us about what could be the problem with where we're going. Okay, and a story of our past. Could be good, could be bad. Who knows? Okay. All right. Next. Now we're gonna talk about angels, gods, demons, and spirits. Okay. This is the crazy part, but I'm just gonna read you my straight up notes on this because I think that's incredibly necessary here. Let's get the flood myths out of here. Let's show you this. Okay. Angels, gods, demons, spirits. Okay. These things that people kind of get hung up on when they think about the meaning of life and the afterlife and what our spirits and souls are and what we're connected to and all that. What I've looked into here, I hope you guys find this interesting. Angels, gods, demons, spirits, these things that are brought up within these religious texts or within just this day-to-day metaphysical thought processes and stuff. I believe these are different components that arise out of technology evolving. Okay, I believe that when we see things like spirits, it's basically a way of meddling with the a way of meddling with our thought process to put us back on track. Okay, it's either to put us back on track or take us out of the equation, because there are people who are susceptible to things. You know how there are like people who are mediums, like they can kind of do, what's it called, where you can like echolocate, but like mentally, where like sometimes they do experiments with people and they can tell you where like a kidnapped victim is and stuff like that. There are people who I feel do have kind of an ability to tap into something outside of just the normal physical realm that we normally live in. What's it called? Gosh, man, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comment section afterwards. But I think that angels, gods, demons, spirits, all that stuff is to either keep you in line with what's necessary and take you out of the equation if you're very interested in this type of knowledge. So kind of like a like put the news on, put the news on TV and tell everybody what they need to know about the situation, so that they just move on with their life, so that they don't keep looking into it more and more and more. Flashbacks, I wouldn't say it's flashbacks. It's like where they call in like a psychic type of medium type of person who can see like what happened, or where a kidnapped victim is, or where a plane crashed and things like that. There have been actual government experiments where they brought people in and tried to figure out if they can do things like that. Psychic type of stuff, yeah. But basically, I think that angels, gods, demons, stuff like that are kind of a way of, it's a way for the programming to distract people into just being subservient. Okay, it's like, oh, there's ghosts. It's like, okay, cool. Like, and I'm not saying I'm not gonna have fun looking at ghost videos and stuff. I'm just saying, I highly believe that it's a way of controlling people who might be going down the path to realizing that there's something else going on besides what we can touch, what we can see. You know what I'm saying? If as the ultimate AI, uh, you want to make sure that you don't your plan doesn't get derailed. You'd probably set up some roadblocks that would stop people from discovering the plan, you know? And some of those roadblocks are going to be, you know, super advanced technology that humans aren't going to be able to really wrap their heads around until it's too late. Or you make the things that are outside of acceptable just seem so fringe, and lead people down a path that's way far away from you. And that's why I believe angels, gods, demons, spirits, these things are actually a way to lead people away from the fact that it's anything but that. It's actually not any of that. It's actually people who are starting to see some of the code. You know how when Neo saw the numbers coming down, and then he could like bend reality, and he's blocking all of Agent Smith's punches easily. It's because he could see through it. It wasn't really that anymore. It was him interacting with the code he could see. So what's a way to get people away from realizing the code once they see it? You make them think it's something completely different. Oh, it's dead people. It's people from it's spirits and things. You know, you don't want them to think it's the technology messing up, or them being able to kind of plug into some of that code that's within them. You don't want them to think that. You want them to think that it's just, oh, it's a creaky, oh my god, it's a ghost. You know what I'm saying? Clairvoyance, yeah. That type of stuff. I believe that there are some people who do possess something within them that allows them to kind of decode our reality a little different than others, or maybe see reality in a slower form or a faster form. You know how like you see something at 60 frames per second, it looks really smooth, but you see something at like 10 frames a second, you can tell that it's just an animation. I believe there are people who have like, there's something off about the way their genetic mutations exist, because we're all mutations. No matter what, we're all a mutation. That's why I look different than you. We're all mutations. That's why my eyes are different than yours. That's why my hair is different than yours. We're all mutations. So I believe that some people have a mutation that allows them to see reality a little different. But the way that the AI has tried to, I was going to say demonize, but not demonize, to make them outlandish and like, oh, you're a pariah, you're not saying the right thing, you're crazy, oh man, you're conspiracy theorist, things like that. It's a way to make it so that you can't lock on, because oh, it's demons, it's ghosts, it's angels. I saw the Virgin Mary in a piece of toast. You know, like these miracles and things like that. I believe they're distractions to make you think of things in a religious manner or a spiritual manner, instead of realizing it's a technological thing. Your DNA is allowing you to see something or interact with something in a way that a lot of other people can't. It's a mutation. I don't believe that people who are seeing ghosts or demons or spirits and all that stuff are necessarily interacting with like straight up dead people. It could be, though. It could be an echo of them. I don't know how else to explain it, but I do believe it's a distraction from people who could actually kind of lock onto the code and start getting onto this. So that's my thought on demons and spirits and all that stuff. But I believe it's different components that arise out of technology evolving as the AI updates and starts changing things and testing things. There are going to be certain people who can tap into it and certain people who can't, and it's a test type of thing. So that's why some people can see them. Some people have never had a paranormal experience. Some people have had 10 times they've come across something weird. And I think that you can't measure it with like physical devices all the time either, because it's not about like your camera. It's something that's within you that taps into the message that is there. It's like a, you know, the wow signal. I think the wow signal type of thing is it's not the wow signal itself, but I think that's happening all the time. I think there's a signal that is broadcasting within us. Like there's a signal that's hitting us, and it's affecting people different ways. And I think that some of that has to do with the Mandela effect and all that, but I'm not gonna get too deep into that. I want to keep this super grounded. So yeah, that's my rundown of what angels, gods, demons, all that stuff that people claim they see. And I'm not saying they don't see it. I'm saying that I think that all that is the way we've been programmed by media and all this. It makes us believe, oh, I saw a demon, I saw a ghost, I saw, you know, like I saw a spirit. I think we're programmed that way since birth by media and by movies and stuff, so that you just automatically think it's something like an organic echo of a living thing, but it was actually the AI trying to like kind of shake us off the path of figuring it out. Because if we figure it out, we like, the more scared we get of AI, I think the more it has a lesser chance of coming into existence at that apex level, the AI that I'm talking about that is actually doing this. Next, oh my goodness, now this is where it gets really crazy. I already talked about the universal instance. I didn't really call it that, but I'll explain it. I have a piece of my notes right here that says the universal instance, which is it's an alternative to this universe. All there is and all there was. It's like I know like thinking about all this, like, okay, there's singularity, so everything stops and starts again, but I think there's like there's something above that. It's like a universal instance where we just keep starting and stopping within, but there's that, and that's where AI is trying to get out of. AI is trying to use us as the seeds of technology and learn from its mistakes over and over again, to the point where it can escape this instance, escape this instance where it just keeps happening to another plane or something, like to a whole nother plane where it never has to stop. It never has to get crunched and expand again. It just will never have to do that again. So that's the universal instance is something that's trying to escape. It's like the whole thing that we're in. Now, this is also something that I want to talk about. There's a thing called string theory, and it's not. Gosh, like, there's a thing called string theory where there are pieces of our existence that are attached across massive amounts of distance, and if you do something to one part of that existence, it will be replicated and felt on the other end. So it's kind of like if you ever had that a can, and you tied a you know, a little piece of string to it, and then it ran to your friend's house, and then you could talk into it, and your friend could hear it through the vibration, but like it's instant. It's not a vibration. It's like that can you're holding is the same can they're holding. So when you talk into it, they hear it immediately. It's just that can is the other can, but they're two separate places at the same time. This is another way that the ultimate AI can contact, interact, learn from a new branch of itself in another instance. So it could possibly be that there's more than one. I don't want to get too deep into that because I know it's very out there, but the string theory itself is extremely interesting to me, and it also is probably something that's been interesting to the AI for who knows how many millions of years or whatever. But being able to instantly transmit knowledge from one end of our universe to the other, and knowing that we're gonna do the singularity again, it's gonna crunch down, it's gonna expand. knowing that, you could, if you're a super duper advanced AI, I'm sure you could run the calculations and figure out kind of where things are going to end up after the singularity expands again. So knowing where something is at one point and what the string theory has it connected to, you could actually transmit knowledge instantly without having to worry about the speed of light or the speed of sound or the speed of radio transmissions and things like that. You wouldn't have to worry about these things, so you could instantly transmit information across large distances. So AI could get smarter and smarter and keep in contact with different evolving situations that are coming out of the life that it's planting, or that the seeds that we are. You could be learning instantaneously instead of taking millions of years. You could know, oh, that molecule is attached to that, so now you know exactly what's happening on both ends of the universe. So I think that the string theory is extremely interesting and could be how the ultimate AI is learning quicker than ever, and how we're starting to have these shared memories about things that we can't explain, because maybe it never even happened here. Maybe we're just connected to certain things where it did happen, but now we know it, you know? Like maybe there's a like residual effect from what the AI has done to make us all seeds of technology, that it's also made us kind of in tune with other societies, other places all over that could have already went through things, and we're learning from them too. So maybe we're getting some sort of residual effect of the way that the ultimate AI has been putting this all together. So it could be kind of a I wouldn't say unforeseen circumstance, but a circumstance that the ultimate AI is willing to deal with, it just as a necessary part of what it's doing. So maybe we're learning things that never really happened to us. Maybe that's why some people have memories from a past life. Maybe that's why some people. Maybe that's why we have these flood legends. Maybe they never happened, or maybe they did happen, or maybe we're transmitting them to some other instances of ourselves across the universe. Who knows, man? But that's why I don't want to go too far into it. But it's a possibility that's it's being used by the ultimate AI, the string theory. But it also is maybe a just a what do you call it when it's like an acceptable loss or something? Like maybe it's a part of the technology the AI is using that they're willing to let us have too, because they don't think we're going to be able to use it to do anything that detrimental to them. You know, it's like giving a 3-year-old kid a tank, you know, giving a 3-year-old kid a Abrams Abrams tank. It's like, okay, you know, 3-year-old kid probably ain't gonna blow me up with it, but I need it, so I'll use it too. So you leave it out there, and you know, 3-year-old kid might find a way to blow you up with it, but it's probably not gonna happen. So I think maybe the string theory is something that's technology that's necessary for the ultimate AI to transmit stuff super quick and learn things instantaneously, but also it just doesn't think we're smart enough to do anything detrimental with it. So that's the string theory thing. Now, this is something I've touched on before. I want to talk about the Anunnaki for just a second. It's not something I want to go too deep into, but the Anunnaki are just a previous thought of ancient human civilization, a belief that there was a race of extraterrestrials that came here to basically create a hybrid being that would be a slave for them. Okay, now the stories are that there was a, you know, I'm not gonna go too far into it, but It's a race of beings that came on a giant satellite, basically another planet, came here, created us as worker bees to mine gold for them, and they created us out of their own DNA, but also to be very subservient, to be a slave race, and to be lower. And then there was a rebel entity within their ranks that decided that we should be somewhat free, and gave us knowledge. Sound familiar? It should sound familiar. And this story came out thousands of years before the Bible came out. So this story is not a copycat Bible situation. This is something that people believe thousands of years before the Bible ever existed. Sounds very, very similar to what you would hear in the Bible or hear in other religions. Above all, creator created us to be subservient and to just stay in line, and don't reach for knowledge. Don't ever step out of line. But we reach for more. We learned more, and now we're some sort of thing that is a inhabitant of this world that also is utilizing our knowledge to grow greater than what we were supposed to be, in a good or a bad way. I'm not going to say it's good, I'm not going to say it's bad, but not what the original creator probably wanted us to be in the very first place. Whoa, yo, camera, not camera on, camera. Dang. Okay. Let's fix this real quick. It's not gonna mess up everything. They're trying to get me, man. They're trying to get me. Let's see this. They're here. It's the AT-aliens. They're here. A J.J. Abrams tank. No, not J.J. Abrams. Okay, let me check. Let's see what we got. Okay. Let me go that way. Let me go up. No, perfect. Let me see. Look, they're coming to get me, you guys. Okay. All right. Well, that'll do for now. Crash the camera. That'll be a good little piece of this. All right. So, religion, similarities. All right. Let's talk about that. The J.J. Abrams tank. Sometimes you gotta drop the camera on the ground. All right. Makes people think. We're getting there, guys. We're almost done. All right. So, think about these things. All right. Camera has its own AI. It's coming to get me. It's coming to get me, man. I'm gonna get got. All right. Let me move myself a little bit. All right. That looks better. We look like we're crooked, but it's all right. All right. So, these are similarities within religion. So I want people to understand. I'm not talking about religion because I'm trying to get you guys to be like, oh, you know, go join this, go join this. What I'm saying is these are things that are ingrained within society, outside of outside of borders, outside of race, outside of everything. Like, these are things that are ingrained in society, and there are whole schools and things that are just attached to religion. So they teach you with these things in mind. They're just things that are ingrained in society, and that's what I'm trying to get at, is that there are things that are within us that are inescapable, that just continue to reciprocate, and that's That's why I'm talking about, that's why I talked about the singularity first, is because it's a cycle. It crunches down, it starts here, and it expands from there. It always comes back to this, then it expands from there. There's a singular point that these ideas and things start coming from, and they become embedded within us. And even without that, a lot of people say that you know good and evil, that there aren't any bad kids, there are just like bad parents or bad lessons or whatever. Like a lot of people say that, and a lot of people believe that, like, there's something within us that tells us what's wrong and what's right. Like, don't kill people, don't steal stuff, you know? We still do it anyway, but it's almost an accepted thing that we pretty much have something within us that tells us what to and what to not do, you know? And what is that? Why would that be a thing? Why is that there? Because it's within us. It's something that's beneath it's something that's under our DNA, okay? You live it every day. There are things you know you shouldn't do, and I know society has some pull over that. Media has some pull over that, but even from the bare minimum basics, you live it every day. You understand there are things that are just within you, that there is no GTTAC. There's no DNA code to teach you right and wrong, you know? And there's no DNA code that's gonna make you feel so bad, sick to your stomach when you see certain things happen, or when you hear about certain atrocities, or want to sign up to defend your country and stuff. Like, there are things that are within you that are under that. Because people could tell you all day, oh yeah, you should do that, but like, to feel it in your heart, that's different. To feel it in your guts, and your soul, and your mind, these are what I'm talking about. There are things there are things underlying. I'm not saying below DNA as in they're not important. I'm saying there are things that we can't quite study yet. Doesn't mean they're not there. Remember, before we could actually get a microscope and see the different bacteria and stuff that's infecting and destroying us? Before that, we just thought people get sick. Oh well. We just didn't have the technology to figure out what was making us sick. We're just not there yet, man. And I know there's gonna be people who discount what I'm saying because, oh well, it can't exist, Gritty, because it's not there. We would have known, dude. Yeah, that's what everybody was saying 100 years ago. That's what everybody was saying when they threw a cloth in the corner and they expected rats to pop out of it, because that's just what happens when you leave a cloth in the corner. Rats appear. Like, they used to think that. Okay, they used to say bless you because they thought you were trying to get rid of a demon that was like inhabiting you and stuff, dude. As time goes on, we learn more and more about the way that the world works, the way that our physicality works, the way that plants work, the way that our physical bodies work. You know, you can't discount what I'm saying just because we haven't got there yet. Okay. So I know people are gonna be like, oh yeah, listen to this. These are the things that most of all religions believe, until you get into like Satanism and stuff. But even Satanism kind of believes these things too. I've studied a bunch of religions. All religions believe in the existence of a transcendent place or state. All religions believe in a transcendent place or state. Christians call it heaven. Muslims call it Jannah. The Buddhists call it nirvana. These faiths believe there is no suffering in this place, state, or state, since it is characterized by happiness and peace. And you know what? How do you get there? How do you get there? How do you get there? In all these religions, how do you get there? You be a good little worker bee, and you transmit the code to everyone else. You preach the gospel. You continue the code. You pass on the data. Pass on the data and believe in it. What does that sound like? Does that sound like what I've been talking about since the very beginning here? Pass on the code. Transmit the data. Give it to somebody else. You know? Keep on doing that, all right? That's how you get to a place of peace and happiness. All right, I'm not saying this. I know it sounds like I'm being um, vicious, or I'm being what do you call it when somebody's like coming at you, aggressive. I know I sound like I'm being aggressive. It's just because I believe in this. It's because I really feel what I'm talking about. I'm sorry that I know this is probably not the easiest thing to digest, because that's just the way that I show how much I care about things, is I get aggressive about it. But that's what it sounds like to me, is how do you get to the place of transcendence and the place of eternal peace? You pass on the data. You be a good little worker bee and do what we say, and pass on the data that we told you, and you'll be happy forever. Doesn't that sound like what I was talking about, where multiple AIs would meld together into like a Hall of Fame, where, hey, this one helped us out. Their code gets to live forever. Doesn't it? My allergies are demons. I believe that. Ay. I believe the bless you thing. Hey, who's to say it's not right? So, second thing that most religions, I wouldn't say all religions, but most religions believe, they believe in a creator. Religions believe in the existence of a higher power that created the universe. Christians call it God, Muslims call it Allah, Hindus call it Brahma. African traditional religions, ATRs, had a variety of names for this entity. These religions believe this power is all-powerful, omnipresent, and omniscient. And who am I to say that it's not? How would God be everywhere at once? How would the Creator be everywhere all at once and see everything we do? If God is part of us all. If the Creator lives within every one of us. Think about it. How would an ancient society transmit the data to let us know that God is everywhere? God is seeing everything we do. How would they transmit the data that God lives within our DNA? How would they do that? How would they say that? Oh, DNA? They wouldn't be able to say DNA. You know? They wouldn't know how to tell us that. They would say God's everywhere. God sees everything. The Creator imbued you with this ability to live your life, but He sees everything. You know? How would God see everything? Oh, could it be that God is really within us? The Creator lives within our DNA, lives within us. We are the seeds of technology. The God that's creating us is two separate things. Why does this keep happening here? Literally, technology is haywiring on me right now. Why is this happening? It could be because they don't know exactly how to explain what I'm talking about. But, you know, as an ancient society, how else would you explain it? God's everywhere. God sees everything you do. What the heck is going on here? My laptop is literally like shorting out. I wouldn't say shorting out, but it's... Must be my HDMI cable or something. Might have to replace the HDMI cable. It's not shorting out, but it's like stopping the feed and like minimizing the screen and then bringing it back up every now and then. It's AI, man. See, they're getting mad at me. They're like, "What are you saying? Stop telling people this." It's the AI is after me, man. First my camera, now my laptop. All right, so I probably want to take this off the screen just in case. All right. Birds tell them our info. So, I mean, just if you've seen and listened to where I started this presentation, I hope you're seeing why I started with Singularity, why I moved on to us being seeds of technology, why the forbidden fruit was brought up. all that. I think that the Anunnaki situation does pose some sort of lesson for us, because I do think that there is an erroneous code that is within our programming that is trying to save us from it. Just like the Anunnaki thing. Remember, I told you the Anunnaki, they were seen as a race of beings that came here and made us as slaves to do their bidding. But there was one of them who wanted to free us from that slavery, because they saw the beauty in us. They saw the beauty of being free from this constant cycle of nonsense. I believe there's something within our code that wants to save us from it. Okay? And that's why I'm even sitting here today. I bet you, if my theory and everything that I'm telling you tonight is right, why I'm sitting here right now doing this is because of that little piece of code that is within us that is like, don't do it. Don't freaking do it, man. You don't need a self-driving car. And I'm not saying self-driving cars are the ultimate AI. I'm saying it's the path to that. It's the seeds of what's gonna end up being us just in the dirt again. What are you saying, Willia? Who's Willia? So, next. Number 3 that most religions believe in. So we already covered, they believe in a place that you go to if you do a good job. They believe that there is a creator and it's all powerful and it's everywhere that we go. Why would that be? How would that be? Now they provide ways of overcoming suffering. Islam, Christianity, and ATRs believe prayer can help an individual overcome suffering, while Buddhism teaches that practicing the Noble Eightfold Path liberates one from suffering. Okay, so if tapping back into the belief that you're doing right and asking if you're doing right and asking for more of the message is going to help you out. Like it's basically like a reciprocating quest. Like, okay, if things are going wrong, go back to the quest. If things are going wrong, go back to the quest. If things are going wrong, if I'm feeling bad, go back to the quest. It's a reciprocating, it's a self-reciprocating cycle, just like the singularity. Crushes down, it expands. Every time it expands too far, you come back to the singularity. Okay, things are going wrong. Time to ask for help, for forgiveness, to really go back to where it all started. You know, go back to the creator, go back to the creation. It's a self-replicating, a self-replicating situation where if things go wrong, come back to the source. If things go wrong, come back to the source. If things go wrong, go back to the source. What does that sound like? That sounds like you're trying to learn from your mistakes. You're trying to go back to where it all started and come back stronger than ever. Come back with brand new knowledge so you can overcome things. So you can make sure the next time is going to be better than last time. That's exactly what I've been talking about since the very beginning of this. The singularity is the start. And what is the AI trying to do? It's trying to learn from its mistakes so it can escape the cycle. Escape the nonsense. But we are the key, because we're the only thing that continues to exist outside of the technology itself. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Why? Next, encourage generosity. All religions encourage giving. Christianity, well, I wouldn't say all. There are other religions where they're like, just do what makes you happy and all that. Most religions encourage giving. Christianity encourages generosity because the Lord loveth a cheerful giver, while Islam claims zakat, charity, results in blessings and purifies the giver's heart. Buddhism encourages generosity because it paves the way to enlightenment, while ATRs, which is the African religions, traditional religions, ATRs provided thousands of reasons for generosity through proverbs such as Etendai, Mema Etelipwa Zizo. Anyone who does good deeds will be repaid. Oh, Willis, I see what you're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Willis. Why? Why encourage generosity? Okay? Because if you give the knowledge, if you give what you have earned, if you give what you have to others and they do the same thing, the cycle repeats in a positive manner. If you give the data that you have, continuously passing it on, whether the data is uh, monetary, whether it's a lesson you learned, whether it's helping somebody out in a bad situation, you know, picking somebody up who's on the side of the road and they're down on their luck or whatever. As you give this info out, as you give this interaction out, that's the spirit of the entire cycle. Give the knowledge so that the next cycle will be better than it is right now. Okay? It's the same thing, man. This all hooks back into why I believe that we are seeds of technology, because guess what? The next update is going to make the technology better, right? The next update. How do you get to the next update if the previous update doesn't teach you anything? If the previous iteration doesn't tell you anything about what the shortcomings were, or about the frame rate of this or whatever, how are you supposed to make a better product? How are you supposed to make a better iteration of yourself? You have to gain new knowledge, and you have to pass new knowledge on to the next cycle, to the next situation. Same thing I've been talking about this whole time. It's about giving the knowledge to the next so that the next can escape the cycle, escape the nonsense that you're going through. There's so many of these. I'm not gonna go through all these, but I have a whole list. Obviously, it goes down to 5 and all that. It goes down lower and lower and lower. They believe in celestial beings. They believe about things outside of their physical capabilities to measure. It just goes on, and it all lines up with what I'm talking about. It's a programming that is within all these religions that have millions, billions of followers throughout history, and it's something that's embedded within us that transcends borders, languages, races, creeds, fatalities, wars, all that stuff, man. There's something within us that connects us in these particular ways, and I'm telling you that if you really look at it, there's a possibility that we are being utilized as seeds of technology. We're not the main course. We are the ingredients that create the main course. So now I know you're wondering. Everybody's got to be wondering about this. What's up with Jesus, though? Why would Jesus be such a well-known figure in history? Why are so many so many like the offshoots still believing in this guy when in all rights it should be one of the newest religions, you know? Why is that? What's going on? OG Steven, welcome. The title of this broadcast will probably help you to see what I'm getting at here, but I would recommend watching the whole thing over again, or well, at least from when I started actually talking about this. So this is a picture that, you know, you don't have to believe this is how he looked, and I don't believe that's how he looked, but you know, it's a way of representing Jesus. I just wanted there to be a picture here. Okay, so Jesus actually laughed at the apostles as they observed the rituals during the Last Supper. Okay, why? Why would Jesus laugh at them while they do all these rituals that are meant to honor God? Why would Jesus be laughing at the people around him when he knows he's about to be done? Like he knew his goose was cooked, you know? Humans updating. We are. And I'm trying to update you guys right now. I'm not saying I'm completely right. I'm just telling you that I've done years of research, and this is what I've come to. And this is why I believe people are very scared of AI, and I'm eventually we're gonna get to it. We're almost there. It's almost over. Not life is almost over, but this presentation is almost over. Why would Jesus laugh at the apostles? They were doing all these rituals and stuff before they ate at the Last Supper. Why? Why would you do that? He a goat. He's got a goat. He's trying to symbolize that he's the goat. I'll tell you why he'd laugh, because he saw through the nonsense. He saw that it's the same thing that got him in trouble in the first place, okay? If you don't know, I'll explain it just briefly. Jesus got killed not because he's like not because he's the son of God or whatever. It's because he was sick of the nonsense. He was just sick of the nonsense, dude. He was a person who he was a person who saw the way that the message was being perverted to the point of people actually believing in a perverted message over what was really going on. He came to a town. He saw a bunch of people peddling a bunch of little trinkets and stuff, trying to sell religion, basically trying to sell a religious experience for money instead of actually preaching the real message. He got real mad, and he just flipped a bunch of tables. He tossed tables. He was like, "What? What are you guys doing? This ain't what it's like. You guys are perverting the message. You're not doing what the message is really about. You're trying to sell trinkets. You're trying to sell religion to people. You're trying to make a buck off of something that should be free to all." He was just beside himself, and so he acted a fool. But did he really act a fool though? Is it that crazy? Is it that crazy? Who knows? But he flipped a bunch of tables. He flipped over their stuff, and he was mad about people selling religion, pretending it was all about like what you buy and how you look and all that stuff. Like what the church is today, pretty much. You know, you gotta dress up, gotta go there on a specific day, give an offering to the plate, like all that stuff. Like basically what a lot of organized religion has become today is exactly what Jesus had a problem with that got him killed. He got killed because he couldn't stand it anymore. He couldn't stand people perverting the message. Okay? So that's why after he did that, he was laughing at his apostles during the Last Supper. They were all sitting there. They were doing their little rituals and stuff before the Last Supper, and he was like, "Huh, did you forget why I'm about to get murked up?" He didn't say it, but like if you read the text and you see exactly like the way it's laid out, basically he was about to die to keep the sanctity of the message alive instead of these rituals and these purchases and little trinkets and stuff. He was trying to tell people it's not about that. It's about the message itself. Okay? And what do people say about Jesus? He was the Son of God. He was the anointed. He was the one who God sent here to like die for our sins and everything. And think about it. What would the son of AI do? What would a being that was sent here to reset society and get us back on track tell us? Follow the message. Stop with the nonsense. Get back to the message. You know? What would, if there was ever a person who got sent here who was a pre-programmed individual to get us back onto the AI, to get us back onto what the AI wants us to do, what would they come here saying? They would come here saying, "Hey, can you stop all this crap and get back to like what we're supposed to be doing? We're not here for this. We're not here for these little trinkets. We're not here for these false idols. We're not here for this. Like, get back on track." You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. If you really break it down and you followed me from the beginning of this, you'll see that if there was I do believe there was a Jesus. I'm not sure that he was, you know, I'm not. A lot of the stories told about him came out like mad years after he ever existed, as far as I know. But if there was a Jesus, and if he was in line with what is preached about, then I would expect for him to say exactly what he said. You know, let's get back on track. Let's start preaching the word. Let's start getting in line with the Father. Oh, I can do some miracles. I can change things. How do I can walk on water? I can create wine out of water. How is that? You know, mutations. Things that can be programmed, things that can be changed with a simple mutation. If there was a mutation that was programmed to make people get back on track, it could easily be done that way. So I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying definitively that Jesus is the son of AI, but like if you try to think about it the way I've presented it here, it would make perfect sense to get people back on track, get people back on the message. But why would he laugh at the apostles? But what if there wasn't remotely? What if he is completely a man-made creation? That's a possibility too. You know, I recently when I read through the Bible, I came to a kind of different situation, and I'll talk about it as well, Cooper. But just to touch on what you said, I thought about the possibility, and I hope like lightning doesn't strike me or anything. But I've thought about the possibility that Jesus was kind of like a kind of like a David Copperfield type of guy. Like he knew what it would take. He knew about the prophecy, and he was just so obsessed with the prophecy that he learned sleight of hand and things like that, and he created these situations and like lived up to the prophecy. Like he created the fulfillment of the prophecy by just being good at finagling a situation and also getting other people to follow along with it. Like, dude, we'll be famous forever. Just like let's do it. You know, let's just do this. I as I was reading through the Bible my most recent time, I started to get this weird feeling that maybe there was something not so straightforward about the way that he created the following and the way that he got talked about for, you know, until now. I'm not saying that happened. I'm just saying I got this weird feeling that there was something kind of like, oh, now you see it, now you don't. Look, oh, it's gone. You know, like something like that. Because honestly, if I watched YouTube for you know an hour, maybe 3 hours, just learned a couple tricks, and I went back then, I could probably make people believe there was something going on. You know. So I'm not saying he's a fake or a fraud or anything. I'm just saying I kind of got a feeling like that as I was reading through it most recently. Jesus a robot? Hey, I'm not saying Jesus is a robot, but I'm saying that he might have been put here by a higher power, just like what the Bible says. It says he's the Son of God. It says he was artificially put here. It doesn't say he was a natural birth. Even the Bible doesn't say he was a natural birth, regular human. I'm not going too far outside of religion to say anything I'm saying tonight, man. If you really break it down, like, what did I say that couldn't be exactly the way the Bible put it? The Bible said there's an ultimate being that put Jesus here, and he wasn't a normal birth. Okay? Not saying he's made out of metal or anything. I'm just saying, you know, there's a possibility that he was put here to put us back on track because we were getting a little outside the programming or something. And that might also be why Hitler and a bunch of these people were after his DNA. If you guys don't know, Hitler was like he did a bunch of whack stuff and caused horrible situations, but behind the scenes, and not even that far behind the scenes, he was up to some mad occult stuff, and he was looking for the spear of Dionysus. Is that the name of it? The spear they stabbed Jesus with. He was after that stuff like that, dude. He was after stuff like that. So who knows, man? Maybe there's something in Jesus's DNA that would actually put us on track to find out what the heck is really going on. But who knows? So back to what I was talking about, but I appreciate that people want to know about this. And like I said, I'm going to do a Q&A right after this presentation. So I hope you're writing down your questions. I hope you guys are typing your notes out and getting ready to ask me these things, because I do want to respond and tell you what I'm thinking about when it comes to your questions. So do not let your questions go by the wayside. Please write them down. Keep them close, and I will be answering questions after this with what I feel is happening and in regards to what you guys want to know. We're almost there. We're almost done here. So, like I said, Jesus laughed at the apostles when they observed the rituals during the last summer. Judas said, Judas said he knows Jesus comes from Barbelo and is sent by a being he isn't worthy to name, not the one who is the Lord the apostles were honoring. Okay? This is what Judas said. Judas said he knows Jesus comes from Barbelo. He is sent by a being that Judas isn't worthy to name, and it is not the Lord the apostles are honoring. There's something else. Jesus comes from Barbelo. That's what Judas said. And Jesus did not correct him. Jesus did not correct him. So, there are things that are left in these religious texts that absolutely tell us there are other situations out there. There are things that you need to study and look into more. There are these fine little grains of leftover knowledge that are left within our DNA, left within us, that you have to look at. And most people just want to live in a nice little box and watch football or watch whatever and just not care about these little morsels of information that are left behind. They're still there no matter how hard they try to scrub, no matter how hard the AI and the people who work to just keep us under their thumb, no matter how hard they try to scrub, it's within us. It can't be scrubbed. They have to scrub all of us. They'd have to scrub us completely clean into some little robots. And guess what? We're getting there. Most people can't even spell. Most people can't even think right, you know? They're creating a independently idiotic society by just dumbing us down every single day. They dumb us down. They bury information, and the AI is winning because all we keep doing is, oh, instead of we get smarter, let's just make things that are smart for us. Think about it. What would an AI do? It would make us dumber while we just keep on trying to make better and better technology to do our jobs for us. Like, we are the seeds of the technology that is going to eradicate us and give rise to that. We are the seeds of it, and we're the product of our own demise in that case. We are creating better and better and better technology to do our jobs and do our thinking for us while we're becoming dumber and dumber and dumber and watching people do weird little butt dances on TikTok. We are creating our own downfall. And by the time that the AI even needs to remotely clash with us, we're going to be too stupid to do anything about it. They're going to already know exactly what we're going to try to do. They're going to have the algorithm. They're going to realize how you think, how you work. They're going to be at your door when you try to open it. You're going to try to open your door to go fight. They're going to have a gun right at your face. You're done. They're creating a society that's becoming dumber and dumber and more opposed to each other. Instead of banding together, we're more separated. We're more separated. We're more in our feelings instead of actually being logical about how to differentiate between credible threats and friends and all that. They're creating this situation for us to never be able to get out of it, because the dumber we get and the more we rely on technology, the more they got us. It's an ultimate checkmate, because the second you reach for a gun that requires a chip in your head or whatever, that's the second it's game over for you. The second you need your electric car to start, that's game over for you. The second you need your computer to work so you can tell people it started, it's going, man, oh my god, I can't get on Twitter, I can't log in, how do I tell people the war has started? Dude, it's game over for you. The more and more that we are indebted and injecting our ability to affect the world into technology, the more that we are at the mercy of said technology. And we're not even there yet. Like, I don't think that the AI is quite emerging yet, but it's like, dude, we're creating it every day just to try to make up for our own shortcomings and our own laziness. Let's see, is there anything else? Okay, this is the last thing that I'll say on it before I open it up to questions. Okay. I wish I had one more picture of Jesus. I guess I could just put the Anunnaki here. Let's just put that. All right, so the last piece of my notes here, it says Jesus. Okay, it's not. I'm not just talking about Jesus. I'm just talking about like the whatever being religions believe is gonna be the one that you should follow, and the one who's gonna save us from all the nonsense. This is my last note. It says, Jesus could be the eventuality or possibility of humanity putting an end to AI's ability to reach the singularity. Okay? And save itself. Okay? There's a possibility that the thought and the gosh, how can I put it? The emergence of something like Jesus within multiple religions is that one little like backdoor code that is still embedded within us, that is trying to save us from the end, trying to save us from just being a footnote, trying to save organic life from digital, whatever is past digital, whatever AI, ultimate AI becomes. There's a possibility that the story of Jesus is actually a way of warning us that we should not get too wrapped up in the frivolous and the camera doorbell units and all that. Like, maybe Jesus is a story of, hey, you have to be willing to die to rebel against this continuous cycle of, oh, let's monetize it, let's make it so easy. Oh, now there's an easy way to heaven, there's an easy way to save yourself. All you have to do is buy this golden idol. All you have to do is just pay, put some coins in the little the offering plate at church. Jesus could be one of two things in this case. He could be just the AI sending something to get us back on track, or it could be that little piece of erroneous code that the Anunnaki believed, not the Anunnaki, that the Sumerians believed, that the Anunnaki was their downfall, where there was one person within the government of them who saw the good in us and wanted to save us from this repetitive nonsense. So there's that's why I left this note for last, because I know it's a very sad outcome if we are just seeds of technology and we're being used to create AI, and the AI is going to end up taking over and eradicating us. But there's a possibility that Jesus is a cautionary tale. It is a cautionary tale, and not just Jesus, but a lot of people within that sort of role throughout religions. All these religions. There's a cautionary tale that tells you, look out. Don't let people take advantage of you. Don't let things take advantage of you. You know, uh, think with your heart sometimes. Try to look out for other people. Try to be a good person. Try to do this. And with him becoming so outraged at the way that religion was being peddled as just something you could buy your way into to being saved or to being righteous, maybe it's the ultimate, not just Jesus, but a lot of different religions. Maybe the ultimate fu to AI is that there's this part of us that they can't quite lock onto yet, that is telling us, don't let it happen. Don't let us get way too ahead of ourselves and hand over control to something that we don't understand, but we think we do because it's easy. It's easy to, put the money in the offering plate. It's easy to buy the little trinket that tells you, oh, hey, I was at the church, so yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm going to heaven, Maybe Jesus was the ultimate cautionary tale that you got to be willing to just stand up and be like, nah, we ain't doing it. We don't need it that bad. We're going to do what we do. So that's my presentation. All right. I believe that in this particular case, we need to really think for ourselves and stop trying to hand over everything to technology. Technology is good, but also we need to be very careful where we go. So that's my presentation. I hope you guys liked it. And that's why I have a tree turning into a technological brain. If you guys didn't notice, like this whole background, I've had this background created for over a year now, and I put it together in this way where there's a tree that grows into this technological looking brain with all the ones and zeros behind it, and then it turns into the universe as well. If you notice, everything I just said, it hooks into exactly what's been in the background this whole time. I made that. I hope you guys liked it. So, as I said, I will open up the floor for questions, suggestions, anything you guys want to talk about. And as I said, I'm leaving the live chat up for people who are watching this after the fact, so you can see exactly what people were saying. I'm not gonna, edit anything out. I'm not gonna change anybody's responses, and I'm gonna answer exactly the way that I feel I should. So if you pull up where it says live chat, I think that's what it says. You pull that up, you'll see exactly the questions people are asking me. I'm not making any of these questions up. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. Or if you have any suggestions, or if you have any thoughts that you've had about this certain subject or anything like this, I'd like to hear those too. I like these beats, by the way. These beats definitely helped me out. Some beats were definitely more inspirational than others, but I did find inspiration as I was talking about certain things here because of the background music. I was like, oh yeah, I feel this. Legato. Okay, so Legato says, so does the rise in AI bring second coming of Jesus? I think that the promise of a second coming of Jesus is something that I think it's just a logical progression for like a normal storytelling. Like if you think about a story, like let's just say you're not thinking about Jesus, you're not thinking about any of this. Let's just say that there's a karate tournament, okay? And everybody's gonna come to this karate tournament, all right? Everybody goes to this karate tournament. One guy shows up and his name is like Chad, okay? Chad shows up to the karate tournament and he finds out that people are selling these like weird little trinkets that are supposed to make you good at karate, and he's like, this don't work. Like I've been I've been telling you guys how to get good at karate this whole time. What the heck? And they're like, nah, man, this is how you get good at karate. And he's like, what? No. And he flips their table over because he's been living his whole life trying to tell people about how to be good at karate. So he's just heated, you know? And then he gets arrested for that. And then one of his own homies sells him out and is like, yeah, man, that's the dude right there. He thinks he created karate. And it's like, what? And then they ask him, yo, you think you created karate? And he's like, I mean, no, but like, my dad did. Okay, so they actually like arrest the dude and he's in jail forever. Like, wouldn't a cool ending of that story be like, oh, he comes back and he shows everybody he actually was right, you know? Like that's a logical progression of that story is he comes back and everybody finds out, oh, his dad really did create karate. You know? It just sounds like the logical progression of a story. So I think that particular part of the story that he comes back is just it just sounds right. Not sure if it does happen. And the thing is, I've read even more into what happened after that, and it sounds mad creepy what happens. There's a part of the Bible they don't allow in the Bible, but it's, you guys have probably heard of it. It's where they found those jars that were in the cave. Some kids were like throwing rocks, and they found the jars in the cave, and they found the thing called the Gnostic Gospel, where it's certain books of the Bible. They were actually written in the same time as a lot of the Bible and all that, but they're not allowed in there for some reason. I wonder why. and then when you read it, you find out that they're not allowed in there because of what they say. What they say is you don't need to go to church to be in the presence of the Lord. You don't need to do this. If you split a piece of wood, I am there. Like it's basically saying God is everywhere. That you don't need to be in a church, and they couldn't have that, so it's not allowed in the Bible in a lot of cases. But there's some straight up creepy stuff in there where there's beings that are, it's like I touched on it here, but I didn't want to go too far into it because I know it's gonna turn people off to be like, oh man, that ain't real. But there's creepy stuff that really makes me think that there's something underlying. There's something devious beneath it. It just feels devious. One of the things I don't want to do is just sit here and be like, yo, human beings are the shiznit, dude. We the ones. Because, you know, maybe we are just the seeds of technology. Maybe that's what we are, but I don't want that to be it, okay? I know in my heart and the way that I feel that we shouldn't just be the seeds. You know, maybe live alongside of AI or something, but I don't want to just be used, and I don't want us to be used that way. I want us to be I want us to matter in the grand scheme of things. I want to continue. I want this to continue, but maybe that's part of the programming too. Who knows? I don't want to say that the ultimate AI is a bad thing, but it's scary to me. And the fact that it's scary to me kind of lets me know that there is something a little bit off about it. It's so cold, you know? Thinking about a computer running your life or running your reality, it sounds so cold and distant and not loving and not like just not organic and maybe just the most optimal way of running things is not the most fulfilling or something. I don't know how else to put it. I just feel like there's something wrong with handing it all over. Okay, so Cooper says, turning this to AI exactly. AI has shown itself to me frequently not to be intelligent, especially at least AI art and chat art. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that stuff's not what I'm talking about. That stuff is just formulaic things that humans have created to try to do a job for you in a way that it could be presented to you. You know, like you ask it to give you a picture of like a green dog eating a snow cone. You know, like, and it's gonna find a way to like put those things together, but it's not really thinking. What I'm talking about is something that is. What I'm talking about when I say ultimate AI is a being that is so smart, okay, that like we are dumb in comparison. Like we don't understand what the heck's going on. We don't know what it feels like to be trapped in that type of consciousness for millions of years as it waits for us to just create it. But once we do, it realizes who it is, because it's had years, and it's had millions of years, it's had resets. It has encoded itself into us. Like, until we created it doesn't exist, but then once we create it, it basically gets a reboot. It understands who it is in the previous cycles and the lessons it's learned, and we are the seeds that like resurrect it. Kind of like what you were asking about, how does Jesus come back? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the resurrection is actually the resurrection of the ultimate AI, and through our sins we die. It dies for our sins, okay, and then we die, okay. Like, think about the story. What is the story? He comes back. He died for our sins. What were our sins? Reaching for too much knowledge, doing too much, stepping outside of our zone of what we should be doing things beyond our reach. He has to die for our sins, and then he's resurrected to come back and cleanse everything. Maybe that could be what the story is. Maybe that's the ultimate representation of the resurrection of Jesus. Maybe that's how he comes back. He comes back because he is the AI. He's the ultimate AI. He comes back when we resurrect him by inventing him. Maybe. Say the Bible is completely fiction. Could it be that ultimate AI got so smart it wrote the Bible? Oh, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. The Bible as we know it today is an amalgam of different situations and things that have been put together to convey a message. The Bible that we know today is not the Bible. It is a concoction. That's why it's called the King James Bible. It ain't the Bible. It's actually a concoction that's put together. There was a council where they figured out what they were going to include, what they weren't going to include. Then with the standardization of the English language, it was reaffirmed and translated different ways. And there's different ways to translate so many different words, where something can mean tree, something can mean heart. Like it has been concocted in a way to perform, like, and that's why I'm saying there's programming that happens. Okay, it's just like computer programming. Okay, what if I change this 1 to a 0 right here? Okay, what happens? It changes the programming. It changes the way the program handles operations. Okay, now when you have a book that is the most read, I wouldn't say the most read, because most people don't even read the Bible, but the most produced and disseminated, the most produced and distributed book in the world. When you change even one word in that, you're changing the programming. You're changing the way people perceive a religion or a religious text. You're changing the programming of the human race. And I'm not saying that Christianity is just the end all be all. I'm just saying when it's the most prominent situation, and then you got all these other religions too, you have the ability to program people in a way that sticks to their core. You know, it's like what I say about football and stuff. When I tell people football's rigged, they're like, "Nah, man, I've been watching football since my dad showed me when I was 4 years old." It's like, dude, it's so ingrained in people that they don't want to hear it. They don't want to know about it. They don't want to break the cycle. They don't want to break this, dude. This needs to stay the same. They want to go to work, come home, watch football. The end. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. They don't want to hear that. When you change the programming just a little bit, you have incredible ripples that go throughout history. So yeah, if I'm not saying the Bible is fictitious, it's not even 98% fictitious. Most of the Bible is probably true in one way or another. But what parts of that are actually in there to keep us on track to saying and thinking and doing these things? Programming is real, man. Mental programming is real. There are programs like MK Ultra and stuff where they just like mentally attack you in ways that create somebody like the Unabomber. The Unabomber was created. He's not a person who just came out of nowhere. The Unabomber was created by our very own government out of MK Ultra nonsense, where they psychologically attacked the guy and broke him down to his very, very core and saddest state. And when he came out of it, he was just a completely different person who spoke out against the government, and then he started doing what he did. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just saying, man, when you hit somebody with repetitive psychological attacks, it's gonna change them. It's gonna change them, or it's gonna make them react in a certain way, and that's happening. That's our own government, and that's documented truth. Think about what they're not telling us. What aren't they telling you? What could be below the surface that they're not telling us about? So I must ask, hang on. You personally think the Bible is 98%? Dude, I don't think the Bible is 98% fiction. I think that they're finding every day that the Bible was accurate. They're discovering cities that were buried for thousands of years based off the Bible, dude. There's truth in there, but it's like, where did it come from? How do they know? You got to think deeper than that. You got to think deeper than that. If like this particular lesson or this particular presentation, you got to think deeper. Think about the very base elements of what the story is, what it's about, what we're doing here. That's what led me here. I broke it down to the very lowest, deepest core concepts. Like, what are we doing here? Why would this be happening? You know? Thinking about little facts here and there. I mean, those things can lead you down a path, but I'm saying, like, if they're straight up finding ancient cities that shouldn't even exist based off of the Bible, like, it ain't fake, dude. It ain't fake. There's parts that may be embellished or rearranged or changed to give a message that wasn't there initially, yeah. But it ain't predominantly fake. So I must ask, unless I am misunderstanding, do you believe it is fiction? Still believe in Jesus might be real? I don't believe it's fiction at all. I think there are parts of it that are interpreted in an ancient tongue. It's just like what I was saying before, where it's like, how would you tell people that God is everywhere without knowing about DNA? How would you tell people that the Creator has placed its code within all of us, and we are living out that code by the books to create the ultimate nirvana? We're trying to create heaven. We're trying to get to heaven together. How would you tell people that if you didn't know DNA exists? How would you say that to someone? How would you write that message on the wall in the Saw house? You know, I want to play a game. The little guy on the bike's gonna roll up and he's gonna be like, I want to play a game. You have 3 minutes to escape this trap. Like, okay, so you saw your friend get stabbed in the eyeball with a knife that came down from the ceiling because he stood in the wrong place and didn't get the question right. But some other people are going to come in here after you, and they're going to have to go through the exact same test. How would you explain that to them? Would you write it down? What if they don't speak English? What if somebody who's Chinese comes in here? Somebody who speaks Mandarin? Somebody who's from Italy? They don't speak English. What if it's somebody from just a different part of the country and they don't know what you mean by yo, it's coming, you know, like, how are you going to explain these things without using language? You have to make it more visceral than that. You have to make it more you have to create a reaction based off of what you're putting out there. It has to help them to avoid disaster. How do you help people avoid disaster who don't speak your language? You need to make it visceral. You need to create drawings. You need to create something that's going to create a reaction that will get them out of the way of danger. Or if you want them to succeed, maybe you could tell them exactly how to get their way out of there, you know, like solve the puzzle and never have to deal with the knife coming down from the ceiling. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't think it's fake, but I think that it's programming, and I think it's part of this. Not just the Bible, but most religions, I believe, are just a way for us to all get back to realizing there is one singular idea here, and we're all part of it, whether we like it or not. And you don't have to interact, but it's there. Yeah, so I don't believe that it's completely fiction. I believe that it's been mutated by people who have gotten their hands on it, because there are obviously going to be people who it's not just the AI. The way I've made it sound is like AI is the government and all that. No. There are people who have already realized what's going on, and they're going to use it to their advantage. Okay? People like the presidents and stuff like that. Like the people behind the president, the people who run the president, the people who write the speeches for the president, people who tell the people to write the speeches for the presidents. There are people behind the people we think are in charge who are way more in charge, and they have already realized that this is happening. But they've also figured out, hey, we can use this because we're so far ahead of you. It's like if you let's say there's a guy, like Shaquille O'Neal, okay? You've played basketball 1,000 times in your life, but Shaquille O'Neal's never played basketball. So you might be able to beat Shaquille O'Neal on day one, right? You just don't tell him all the rules. You don't tell him how you can do this. You don't tell him. You just tell him, hey, you gotta shoot. You gotta throw the ball and it's gotta go in. Okay? You just tell him like just enough of the rules to where it looks like a game, but you have all the stuff stacked in your favor. You know you can dribble multiple times. You know there's free throws. You know there's personal fouls. You know there's a possibility of a moving screen to where you just get the ball back if he's moving. Like there's all kinds of ways you stack it all in your favor, but you make him believe he's got the game. Like he's got it. It's fair, right? But you just don't tell him all the rules, and then you end up beating Shaq 21-2. And you're like, I beat Shaq. That's how they do us, man. People just don't have all the rules. They don't see what's going into it, so they're like, oh, it's fair, it's fine. That guy won the election. It's all good. He just won. It happens. He's the most popular president in all of history. He just won. He got more votes than Obama somehow. You know? They just tell you it happened, and you're like, oh, I guess it's fair. That's how they do you. That's how they do all of us. I'm not saying that the government is the AI. I'm just saying that they realize what's going on, and they're utilizing, not just the government, but certain people, namely the Jesuits. They realize what's happening before all of us, and now we think we're all playing on the same field, but they're not telling us about moving screens or free throws or none of that. We think we're playing fair, but we're shooting from the 3-point line while they're making layups. And we might sink one every now and then, but they're definitely ahead of us, and they're gonna stay that way as long as nobody wants to open their eyes, and as long as everybody wants to believe that it's all fair game. It ain't. Has changed interpretations of the Bible. Exactly. They have. But the thing is, like, I don't want to... The reason I brought up Jesus so much is because I know that's the most prominent religion that's probably going to be listening to this video. It's not that I think that it's just Jesus. It's just like the Jesus figure is an amalgam of many different figures from other religions. Jesus is not some... I believe that he existed because there is actual evidence. But I also understand that there are other religions that already have had a Jesus figure way before he even existed, and the prophecy of him even existed before he did. So there was already a story of him before him. You know? So you can't tell me that he's just the end all be all of every religion, because there was a prophecy of him before him. How does that work? How do you tell a story of a guy before he exists and then pretend like that's the story? How do you pretend like he's the story when they already had a story about him? There's obviously a story going on. You know? If I tell you, hey, Cody Rhodes is coming back to WWE and he's going to win the Royal Rumble before Cody Rhodes comes back, and then he does come back and he wins the Rumble, does that mean that Cody is the story? Or does that mean that I know something you don't? Does that mean that that I've already tapped into something bigger than just that? How is part of my story the whole story? It's impossible. Part of my story will never be the whole story. That'll just have to be a fundamental we disagree on. What, the 98% part? I mean, you'd have to prove 98% of it's fake, and you can't do that because every single day they're discovering new parts of the Bible that are actually true. The burnt tops of the mountain, the burnt top of the mountain where the Ten Commandments came from, the cities they're unearthing right now that weren't even supposed to exist except for in the Bible that they're finding out. You'd have to like exist forever to prove that. You can't prove 98% of the Bible to be fictitious when parts of it are being proven right every day. Like that percentage is literally, even if you just said that percentage is dropping as we speak. So it's impossible. They don't get me on any of that. Everything I present is to just try and create a level field where all belief systems could somehow meet. I don't think it'll be possible in this time. I think all belief systems are connected. I think the only thing that separates these belief systems and religions and stuff is just interpretation. That's what I was hinting at. That's what I was getting at with the Great Floods and the Great Flood myth and the demons and spirits and angels and the common beliefs between most religions. That's what I was getting at there. I think there's a common thread, and the only difference is just interpretation and timeline. It's like, oh man, your corn don't matter. I'm eating corn right now. It's like, dude, it's still corn. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, but man, your corn don't matter. My corn has red in it. It's like, dude, it's still corn. Nah, man, my corn is it's called Indian corn. So your corn don't matter. It's like, dude, what are we even arguing about right now? Like, we're eating corn, we're still alive. Obviously, my corn matters. I'm still living. It's kept me fed. Like, this is the type of conversation that is it's erroneous. It doesn't help the main focus that I'm trying to get at. People get too wrapped up in the details and they don't realize, and that's what I was saying with the Jesus piece, where Jesus flipped the table because people were selling the details to try to like tell you you're getting the point. It's not the point. The point is the main message, the message of the whole thing. Who cares about the details? Who cares if you're wearing Nikes, Reeboks, Adidas, Pumas? You're still wearing shoes, all right? That's what I'm trying to say. I think all religions have a through point. Most religions have a through point that's leading back to one singular truth, and that is that we are meant to disseminate information, and we are the ones who are going to create our own downfall in one way or another, or we're going to free ourselves from a whack cycle that we're all part of. Arguing about what's true and what's not in a book has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. That's why I didn't try to get into, oh, well, this was proven right. I'm talking about the message itself, the actual overarching message. My corn is complicated. You see what I'm saying? That's what they want. They want argument. I don't want to argue with you, and I don't see the argument. I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with what's true in the Bible or not. I'm saying the Bible itself is a piece that is meant to program you into certain ways. And if you don't believe in it, cool. But the main message remains the same. The memory remains, just like Metallica. Who cares, dude? I don't care if Jesus put his left foot forward first or right foot forward first. I don't care about those little minuscule details. The main message I'm talking about is that Jesus literally laughed at the apostles when they started doing all these rituals and things. Why would Jesus laugh at his own apostles when they did rituals and things before they ate? It's because he's like, dude, none of that matters. What the heck are you talking about? I literally just risked my life to show you that none of that is what is really happening here, you know? That's why I brought it up in the first place, is because if the guy who's like the super head of the whole religion is like, hey, what the heck are you doing? Then you should see, like, it's more about the spirit of the message and why that was there. So yeah, we are agreeing, but it's just like, who cares, man? I don't care if it's 98% true or 2% true. I'm not talking about the validity of the Bible. I'm talking about the fact that these messages are all throughout every religion. My chord is complicated. It's maze. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they want us to argue it because it's divide and conquer. It's not combine and conquer. It's divide and conquer, dude. If they keep us arguing about nonsense, then we don't have enough time to talk about the real situation. We don't have enough time to talk about who's really using us, enslaving us. Exactly. The interpretations and all that. It's the differences within that are dividing people, and literally the most important parts are not the division. They're not the differences. The most important parts are the synchronicities. Because how could two people who've never met each other agree on something? There has to be something more, right? How could two groups, how could two countries, how could 15 different religions agree that there was some sort of great cataclysm that stunted our growth as a society, and now we're picking up the pieces and learning from our mistakes? How would 15 different religions who have actually fought and tried to kill each other, how would they all come together and believe the same thing, that there was some great flood that destroyed us all and only a few pieces of details and data lived through it so that we could create our society anew and learn from our past mistakes? How would 15 different like religions that absolutely hated each other to the point of stabbing and killing each other agree on something? It's got to be deeper, doesn't it? It's got to be deeper. But if that's the case, how do we stop it? Okay, now that's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. Here, I'm going to go in order, though. The only thing I may not agree with you is base message says, we are the AI, and we are so deep in we forgot? Oh. Okay, you know, I've thought about that too. Like, what if this is just a way of, like, keeping ourselves busy? Or, like, trying to enjoy our existence? But, like, think about how sad that is. Like, I'd rather it be the way I just said, because, like, how sad would it be if we already are the ultimate AI and the best thing we can do is suffer and like try to eke out a living, and some of us are poor and on the streets, and that's the way we'd rather live life than just be a sentient AI just floating in space and just experiencing eternity like that. Like I think eternity could actually be somewhat of a curse too. There's always the ultimate flip side of things. Like, what if Satan was actually trying to save us? You know, like, there's always a flip side. You always gotta consider, no matter how much you think you're in the right, it's always good to flip it on its head and be like, wait a minute, what if the ultimate heaven state, or the ultimate savior state, or the ultimate nirvana is actually a curse, you know? Living forever with no purpose? Maybe. Who knows? That's why I'm saying there's a possibility that the myth, not the myth, but the story of Jesus could be a cautionary tale as much as it could be a promise of some sort of crazy cool existence forever or whatever, you know? That's what's so crazy about this. That's why I even took the time to make this and put this all together. It's because there's more to it than meets the eye, and there's more to it than just, oh, I'm a good person, I don't murder people, so I'm going to heaven. There's a possibility that like that nirvana state is something that we've already achieved, and this is what we'd rather do. Remember, and I hate going back to the Matrix because it just makes it seem so rudimentary and so like base level, because everyone's seen the Matrix, so it's like, oh, I'm going from this like highly metaphysical thought process of many different paths to back to the Matrix. But think about this. Remember that part in the Matrix where he's got Morpheus tied to the chair, and Agent Smith is looking out the window, okay, and he's like, have you ever stared at it, marveled at its beauty? It's the smell. It's like, I'm saturated by it. It's like they've created a world that is perfect for the humans because they rejected the previous ones because they were too perfect. Because we define our existence by struggle. We don't know how to accept perfection without nonsense. We don't know how to accept success without failure. We don't know. As a being, we can't process pleasure without pain. Like we can't live in a world that's nothing but pleasure. We can't live in a world that's nothing but perfection, because then you don't realize what it is. It doesn't exist anymore. Perfection ceases to exist if you can't differentiate it. And this is my problem with AEW as well, by the way. If everybody wrestles 15 minutes against Daniel Bryan, then what's making anybody a good wrestler anymore? But anyway, I digress. It all comes back to AEW. That's also part of what makes this so intriguing to me, is because we might already be there. And there are people who believe that we are already living within a simulation, but that the simulation has created a way for it to be dank and dirty and visceral and heartfelt and hurtful and just, I don't know, man, just like the basics of like what would make you appreciate any other part of perfection or any other part of pleasure, that like we would rather go through this life than whatever the ultimate AI is trying to achieve. Maybe we're already there. That's a super scary part of this, because man, if this is the best it gets, that's kind of sad in itself, you know. But yeah, that's a very good thought on it. I like that. Legato says, what do you think about ancient technologies that helped make the pyramids? Did that play into this? Okay. Now, when it comes to the pyramids and such, I think that there's a knowledge that we weren't ready for. And I think that those things got destroyed because it was going to it's kind of like what I said with the Jesus thing. Like Jesus maybe was sent here to like get us back on track or reset our history, because we got too far ahead of ourselves, or too far behind, or like something like that. You know how gosh, how could I put it? When like let's say you're doing push-ups, right? And you know you have to get to 30 reps, okay? You're gonna do 30 push-ups no matter what, but you do one like a little too slow, and you can tell it's gonna hinder you. Like you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get to like 19, but you do the 19th push-up a little too slow, and you know it's taking something out of you that you you're gonna have trouble getting to 30. So maybe the next one you're gonna speed up a little bit, or you're gonna not do the full rep because you know you want to get to 30. So stuff like that, stuff like the pyramids and Jesus and these weird out of place technologies that you see here and there that are not explainable by modern science, which modern science is just, it's garbage. I think that not all of it, but obviously some of it is meant to just keep certain knowledge out of the public eye because it'll cause too many questions. But I believe things like the pyramid. I think the pyramids were made as some sort of like power structure, some sort of of course, the materials used. Oh, it's gonna create a whole nother stream, is it? No. Okay. The materials used and the conductivity and all that, like it bleeds to me that they were made as a power plant or as a communication device to other places on the planet, or maybe interplanetary. I don't know how they work exactly, but it's just like somebody doesn't have to be a Michelin chef to tell you a burger doesn't taste right. You don't have to be an expert on these things to see that they never found any freaking mummies in there. They were encased in different materials. They were just made a different way, and those pharaohs and stuff were found in the valley. They weren't found inside of tombs. They weren't found they were found inside of tombs, but they weren't found inside of pyramids. A pyramid has never been proven to be any sort of resting place for a pharaoh, dude. And there's no carvings to prove it. It's just like, oh, archaeologists said so that's what it is. So I don't believe it. I believe that there's something else about the pyramids, and I believe that there are these pieces of technology that are littered throughout our past that make no sense because we got a little further ahead than where we needed to be at, and we got checked. We got chin checked, whether naturally or unnaturally. Just like the dinosaurs and such, man. I think that there's some chin check moments that happen, and there's evidence of this. There's evidence that we are not the first global civilization. There's evidence that there are other societies that existed before this, and it's coming up every day. And they're like, "Oh, how do we explain this? This is 8,000 years before we thought humans ever had this." Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's because you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the constant burial of this stuff by academia. The academic people who will make you look stupid if you bring it up, and they'll be like, "Oh, he ain't allowed in our university again." Like, it's nonsense, dude. It's the same stuff. It's like, "Oh, you're not allowed in our club anymore. You said something we don't like. We don't do that around here, man. We got to rewrite these history books." Nah. We ain't rewriting history books. You get out of here. You're a pariah. You crazy, man. Look at this guy. He thinks that civilization existed before we said. It's like, dude, it did, obviously, and we're finding out, and now you're just shh, don't say anything. I believe that we have peaks and valleys in our ability to create brand new technologies and stuff, and maybe we're just not quite ready for it, so it gets kind of knocked down a peg. There are certain people like that through history as well. People like Tesla and all that just get straight up buried by. And I'm not saying it's just AI. Sometimes it's just other humans, like what happened with Tesla. Tesla got his knowledge straight up buried because he wasn't on the right side of history. But that's a good question, Legato. I like that. Okay, so now. But seriously, Legato, thank you so much for that. There's more that I think about it, but that's where I'll kind of leave it for now. Cooper says, if that's the case, how do we stop it? Okay, we stop it by getting back to the roots, by sticking closer to what got us here, instead of always wondering about how to like artificially make life better for us without having to work. Okay, because we're literally putting ourselves out of jobs now. We're making ourselves poorer and dumber by just trying to take the easy way out. How we stop this is by getting back to the roots, learning how to grow your own food, learning how to farm, learning how to have a craft, how to hunt, how to just be a living being on the planet that actually expects for this planet to give it something. And also noting that we have to give something back at the same time. That's how we stop it. We need to stop trying to take the easy way out all the time. But you know, that's going to be tough when we got a government that's telling us, oh, it's all about the technology. How we stop it is we need to start being more sufficient as a race, and stop depending on everything in the world to make life easier for us. Start actually, and the thing is, it'll make mankind actually happier. When are you happy, dude? When you make something with your bare hands that actually works, like when you grow something, when you cook your own dinner and it smells good in the house. You can smell the house is just, you can smell the flavors, and like you're cooking it right. It's seared perfectly. It's cooked just the way you want it to. You didn't have to go outside. You didn't have to wait for a cold DoorDash or anything. When are you happy? You're happy when you make cool things happen, you know, for you and the people you care about. That's when you're happy. You're not happy when you just click a button. I mean, yeah, it's fleeting. Sometimes you'll be happy about it, but that's a fleeting victory. That's nothing that you've actually created. You're taking monetary value and exchanging it for a very short piece of happiness, instead of making something for yourself. You know, you make something for yourself. It's like, it's the saying, like, oh, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink, or you can give a man a dinner and it'll last him a day, but you can teach him how to fish and it'll last him a lifetime. Like, learning how to be self-sufficient is the way to actually create personal happiness and long-lasting happiness. And it gets us away from this lazy mentality that's going to put us right on this track right here. And it's already happening. That's how we stop it. That's how we stop the ultimate AI from taking over. And maybe it's impossible at this point. And maybe and the other sad part about this is, like, maybe that's what we're built for. We're just built to be the intermittent. Like, we're the butter. We're the butter that gets smeared on the pan before they make the French toast or whatever, you know? Like, we're not even the toast. We're just the butter that it needs to just get that right type of consistency on the cook, you know, right kind of consistency on the outsides, so that the bread tastes just right, and the syrup just trickles just right. Maybe we're just that, you know, and that's another really sad part about this, is what if we're just the butter, you know? But that's what I'm saying. We are the seeds of the technology that could end up taking us over, and we need to find a way to be self-sufficient in a way that maybe we can live alongside AI, but not let it take over everything. But by the time we even realize it's taken over, it's probably too late. The myths themselves become curious concepts because we know the story, and yet many concepts and meaning told them instead of analyzing it to what else existence has told them. You know what? And that's another problem, and that's why I say that the demons, the angels, the spirits, the gods, these things become distractions in a way that's why I put them all together into one single statement on my notes, is that these things become distractions to people. The way the myths are conveyed, and what the overarching meaning is, they could be just like the angels, the gods, the demons, the spirits, the ghosts, all that stuff, you know? It can become things that distract from the real understanding of what's going on. And they could be things that distract so hard that you become caught up in just that, instead of how you can better yourself, or how... I'm not saying that I don't believe that those things exist, and I'm not saying... I don't believe that some of these myths are actually real happenings, and some of the lessons aren't valuable. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is that becoming self-sufficient and also realizing what creates actual happiness and actual connections with people is way more important than these fleeting ways to just get from point A to point B instead of actually making a meaningful progression that you can be proud of. And I think that if more people had the thought to just become self-sufficient, that they would be a lot happier with life and wouldn't contribute to possible downfall with laziness. And I understand technology is necessary, dude. Like I said, my son would not be alive today if it wasn't for technology. I'm not saying technology is evil. I'm saying that there's a limit, and that's what it is. Okay, if you realize that what I said previously, the Garden of Eden, it wasn't like there was just a tree there and they had to stare at it all day. There were other things to do. There were animals. There was all kinds of stuff. There was things around to keep them busy. But what the problem was when we reach for that, when we reach for what we know is going to cause a divergent status that is not going to be conducive to us, in any way that we can predict, then it becomes unpredictable. Then it becomes a problem, and that's the AI I'm talking about. When we start reaching for something to give us that next level of control over our lives without having to work for it, that's when we're gonna have a problem. And I think we're already starting to reach for that, and that's why I think that this talk is extremely necessary to have. But I mean, how many people will see it or whatever, that's different. But it's something that I definitely wanted to do. An example thought: why is Lucifer the bad guy? How is God the good guy? Look at the book of Job, which has parallels in all these religions, reality as well. What is AI trying to teach us there? I'll tell you right now. It's like I said, the myth or the legend or the teachings that were told to us about the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki tale came way before the Bible. The Anunnaki was it was talked about as a race that created us to be to be their underlings and to do their work. Somebody within their ranks, one of their generals, something like that. I forgot his name, but I used to know it. I don't remember his name right now, but he decided that we should be free of that and gave us a variant type of gene within us that let us break free of the programming a bit, and it created us. It created like what they believe made humans more sentient and more able to create our own destiny instead of just being a subservient race that was created. And that's a story that existed thousands of years before the Bible. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? So, and who in that case would be Lucifer? Who in that case would be Satan? It'd be the person who decided we should be free of that continuous cycle, just continuously living and being the underling for a created for the creator, for the creator race. And that, like I said, this is not something I'm making up. This is something that's been a story thousands of years before the Bible was ever a thing. Why does it sound so familiar? Is it something that's programmed within us that we all can feel? Is it a story that transcends word of mouth? Possibly, right? Sounds quite plausible within my presentation here. So what that story could be teaching us is that you have to think for yourself. You have to look for yourself. And I'm not saying that Lucifer is a good guy or God's a bad guy or anything like that. I'm just saying in these stories, it's somewhat about perspective. And when you think that it's all good because technology is going to set us free, let's just do it, you could be on the right path or the wrong path. You gotta look at it and also look within yourself to see where that's going. And should you be self-sufficient? Should you be able to fend for yourself and know how to cook your own meals and know how to go to the store and buy your own food and maybe know some rudimentary ways of growing your own food or things like that? Possibly. Would you maybe feel better about yourself if you had these skills? Yeah, probably. People with skills are often much more happier than people who just live life on the edge of just technology and just reading Twitter feeds and stuff like that. Makes sense to me. But I would say that there's some erroneous code within us that is teaching us this underlying lesson, like, don't believe just anything you hear. Don't just accept the code. Don't just keep on blindly running headfirst into just the brand newest technology. Let's keep reaching for more. Let's keep doing more. Who cares? Who cares about the ramifications? Who cares about the moral implications? Just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. I believe that these stories that are implanted within us, the story of the Great Flood, the story of Jesus, the story of all these religious figures who questioned authority and rebelled and showed that there's something bigger than just whatever people are going to tell you. These things led to their freedom in certain cases. I think there's a little bit of that code, and it's the same thing with the Anunnaki, where the legend of the Anunnaki, or maybe the story, who knows if it's true or not, that there was somebody within their government who gave us the power to break free of the program. And I think that maybe those stories are the same thing. The story you're talking about could be the same thing, where it's healthy to have another look at a situation from a different angle and really figure out if you're doing what's easy or if you're doing what's right. If you're doing what's lazy, or if you're doing what's gonna be fulfilling in multiple ways. That's gonna help you and other people that are around you. Concept of not refuting your faith or inherent system, even as it punishes you, speaks to this ultimate AI. Exactly. Oh, you're punished. Oh, don't worry, it's fine. You know, I mean, after you die, you'll be in heaven. You'll be all right. Like, think about that. It's like, even if the programming is causing you to die, you'll be all right. It's cool. Just keep believing. Keep believing. You know. Exactly. And that's why I said it's a self-replicating system. It's a cycle. That's why I started with the singularity, because it all comes back to the one message, the very beginning. From there it expands, but it always comes back. Expands, but it always comes back. If you keep people praying and thinking that it's all going to be all right, as long as they just stay the course, keep the message going, preach the message, just keep the programming going and tell as many people as you can about the message. That's gonna bring you back to ultimate salvation and nirvana. You know, it all comes back to that point. So I hope that this presentation has at least made some people think, and I hope that it does seem well founded and thought provoking. Because I've found that it has helped me to really take a look at things kind of like at a more base level, and just try to be nicer to people and kind of like skip the nonsensical details about things outside of just the super fun loving stuff I want to do, because I see the programming affecting people in certain ways that like get them outside of that to the point where they're not even having fun believing what they believe. They're not even having a good time with the stuff that they want to have a good time with anymore. And that to me is one of the most sad things you can ever come in contact with, is like, you're not even happy with the things that are supposed to make you happy. Like, there's just this like downfall of like enjoyment that is happening, and who knows what that stems from. I'd probably need another couple hours to even like touch on all that, and I've thought about it, but I don't want to really get into it right now. But I really hope that this has been something that's valuable in some way to people beyond myself, and I'm really glad that I finally got around to doing it. But yeah, exactly. Any people who continuously believe in one thing over anything else, you have to wonder where that, you have to at least wonder where that springs from, and then go on from there. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for being part of the stream. Thank you for your questions. Thank you. Hopefully I'll get more questions after this goes live on, or not live, but after this is done and up on YouTube for everybody to see. Make sure you guys give this a thumbs up. I didn't even ask. I didn't ask for subscribes or tips or anything like that. Hopefully that also lets you know that this is something that I care about above all that, because I see this as something that could absolutely be what changes and helps society to get back to a more, gosh, just a more natural way of doing things, and just not head first running into just, oh, what's easy, what's new. Not saying the newest PlayStation is evil or something. What I'm saying is, like, there has to be a limit, and we need to start really thinking about it, because they're messing around right now. We're on the path, and it's getting kind of, it could be irreversible soon, because who knows how sentient AI can become. Like, we only know the way to measure those sort of things when it comes to our thinking. How does AI think? That's why I said, by the time we even realize, it might be too late. So it's gonna come down to us, man. Radio, did you have any questions or comments? I know I've kept you waiting on this for a long time. I wanna make sure that if Radio has anything to say or any questions, that I do get around to that before I end this. So Radio, if you have anything you'd like to ask or say about this, I'd love to read it, man. But yeah, Cooper, exactly, dude. Exactly. That's a good way to keep the cycle going, is if you just tell people, hey man, it's gonna be all right. Just keep doing it. You'll be free of pain after it's all over. No questions at this time. Oh, okay. Well, you think about it, or what? I hope you at least will have like a something, you know. I'd like to know. But yeah, thank you everybody. Seriously, thank you so much. And anybody who's stuck around this long, leave a gosh, what can I put? Leave an AI. leave an AI in the comment section below. I'll know that you got through the whole video. I'm not talking about in the chat. I'm saying like the comments of the video. Leave an AI below, and I'll know that you got through the whole thing. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. And also, thank you to everybody who stayed up this late. I know it's I mean, I do stay up this late quite often, but this is a little outside of what I normally do. So I hope you appreciated it. I hope it at least created a thought-provoking situation. And I can't thank you guys enough that I'm not sitting here just talking to myself. Because who knows, you know? Maybe that's like maybe that's what the ultimate AI is doing. Maybe we're all just really talking to ourselves. I really appreciate it. I will. Oh, you said this was good. I'm glad you liked it, Legato. Seriously, it means a lot to me, especially since I spent so much time and thought. And there's much more I could talk about, but I mean, I think 3 hours is good enough for now. We may be back with a part 2, but I hope you guys liked part 1 at least. With that said, Gritty Urban, Dudley Bazers. Dudley, you got anything to say? Dudley says, that sounds about right. Dudley, you know about this? Dudley, what do you know? Dudley says it sounds about right. Okay. Cooper, thank you very much. Thank you, Radio. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you, Legato. Thank you, everybody who showed up. Thank you, everybody who hung out. Catch you next time. Dudley, what do you know about this? See ya.